Chapter 1 Storm Awakens. It was nighttime in the village hidden in the leaves, and a boy with sun-kissed hair and bright orange clothes was reaching out to his teacher, brother, father figure Irika Yumino. Why? Because a giant shuriken was flying towards him about to pierce his chest. Irika-sensei. A bright flash followed by a loud clash sounded off, and next thing everyone sees is Naruto with smoking hands and the ashes of the giant shuriken on the ground in front of Irika. A moment of silence was in the clearing until it was broken by the blonde who spoke in a confused tone. Did I do that? He looked toward Irika to see him with wide eyes looking back at him. And Naruto, why you just shot lighting? Mizuki, in shock at what happened, looked at Naruto with shock. He shook his head and shouted at the blonde. I don't care what you shot, I'm still going to kill you and Irika, he screamed with rage in his eyes. Naruto, knocked out of shock by Mizuki's outburst, hardened his gaze and responded. For your crimes against the leaf you shall die today. As he says that, he makes a cross sign with his fingers and shouts shadow clone jutsu. Next thing everyone sees is a massive cloud of smoke and 1,000 clones in bright orange with serious faces with arms out. Now die, they all say in unison, sending chills through Mizuki's body. They all shoot lightning blasts out from their hands, and the screams of Mizuki echo through the whole clearing for 5 minutes straight. When Naruto was finally done, there was nothing left of the traitor, not even ashes. Naruto hunches over and pants heavily, then notices Irika still with wide eyes. Irika-sensei, are you okay? Do you need me to help you with anything? This finally snaps him out of his daze. Naruto, close your eyes for a sec. The blonde responds. I don't know how that will help you, but okay. Okay, you can open your eyes now, Naruto. He did so only to notice Irika was missing his headband, and he reached to his forehead only to feel metal and soft cloth. He shed a couple tears and gave Irika a hug. Thank you, Irika, for everything. You've always been there to help me, even when no one else would. You're the only person plus the Ichirakus to know my real self. This causes Irika to smile warmly. So, does that mean you will stop hiding yourself from everyone and step into the dark side? This causes them both to chuckle. A squad of Umbu appear out of nowhere, and an Umbu with a cat mask and purple hair walks forward. Uzumaki-san, Yumino-san, the Hokage wishes to speak with you. This causes Irika to sigh and Naruto to scowl. Next, the Umbu walks up to them and places a hand on their shoulder and shunshin away. Thank you, Umbu, you can leave us now. Yes, Hokage-sama. With that, they all leave, allowing him to focus his attention on the duo in front of him. Naruto-kun, the scroll please, he asks with a kind smile, which pisses Naruto off. Naruto throws the scroll at him aggressively, which causes Umbu to come out and point their weapons at him. We have a lot to talk about, old man. Unbothered by the 4 Umbu with weapons at him. Yes, we do, Naruto-kun. Umbu, leave us. So what do you want to ask first? When did you plan on telling me I had the 9-tailed fox seal inside of me? He says with an angry face, leaking little amounts, killing intent out, but enough for both of the men to know he is serious. Hiruzen Sarutobi was an old man who has seen 2 wars along with the 9-tailed fox, but yet a child of only 12 has made him nervous with just his look that reminded him of another redhead woman who gave him the same look. He could have sworn he saw a ghostly image of her behind the boy, but he shook it off. Naruto-kun, I was going to tell you when you were 16 or a chunin. He responded in a straight tone. This causes Naruto to release a low growl. When I'm 16 or chunin, are you kidding me? I already failed 3 times and I'm 13. You should have told me when I wanted to become a ninja, or maybe even when I asked you why everyone hates me. Don't even tell me this was a secret when the whole village knew about it except me. He screams, releasing even more ki enough to make the Hokage sweat and Irika to gasp in shock. Naruto-kun, you have to understand it was for your own sa-. Don't even say safety. The villagers would still break into my house and beat, but no, what do you say? The villagers are just confused and angry right now. Forgive them. No, they didn't forgive me for something I didn't even do, so I will not forgive them, and if they want to try to hurt me again, they will be put down for attacking a ninja off the leaf. Through this declaration, his eyes turned red for a moment, enough for only the Hokage to notice and fear that the seal was breaking. You owe me, old man. The old Hokage just sighs sadly and gives in to his demands. Fine, Naruto-kun, what is it you want? I want you to get your act together and start acting like a Hokage and not some helpless old man who gives in to anyone's demands. You run the village, not anyone else. This causes a little fire to come back to the old fire shadow. I also want you to postpone the team selections for a week so I can have time to master my new strange power. It's called a bloodline. You would know that if you were not sleeping in class, Iruka says with a cheeky smile on his face. This causes a tick mark to appear to Naruto's head. Naruto then turns and gives Iruka a foxy smile that unnerves him a bit. Crispy Iruka coming up. Naruto put out his hands and blast Iruka, which caused him to scream out in pain, and bright lights in the Hokage office, which makes the old man and Umbu's sweat drop. Now, old man, just tell me a secret training ground to train in, and I will be back sometime later. Which causes bigger sweat drops to appear. Right, training ground 44, but be careful, it is dangerous, and is called the Forest of Death. Don't worry, nothing can stop this ninja from becoming the best. This caused the old man and slightly smoking Uruk to smile. Well, off I go to see this forest, he shouts, jumping out the window in nothing but his orange pants. A tick mark appears on the old man's head. I hope this does not become a habit of his like someone else I know. You know, I think I should have listened to the old man. This place is dangerous. I've already killed a giant bear, 3 tigers, and that a snake. What Naruto sees is a snake the size of a 2-story house. Without thinking, Naruto runs up a tree to get a better vantage point. And indeed what he sees is a giant brown snake with black diamonds going down its back and yellow eyes that scream bad vibes. But if there is one thing, Naruto is a coward. He is not so. He makes a cross sign with his fingers and shouts Shadow Clone Jutsu. A puff of smoke in a clone of Naruto is next to him. Okay, buddy, let's send this snake packing. They raise their hands to the sky and let out a mighty roar, and a huge bolt of lightning strikes the snake, causing mass damage and crater 20 feet wide and 3 inches deep destruction. How we showed that snake, didn't we? We sure did, boss. But before they could celebrate, too much a kunai to the clone's head, and it puffs in smoke, while another slices his cheek, letting some blood fall. Someone appears behind him, pressing something soft against his head, pushing his body against the women if he had to guess. Then a voice follows. That was pretty awesome, Gaki. You really did a number on this area, and you even beat my snake with 1 strike. I think that deserves a reward, she says in a flirty tone, while licking blood off his cheek, which makes him blush, much to the mystery women's amusement. WWW, what are you doing, lady? Let me go. No, that's not how you ask for things, is it? She says in a wistful way. Can you please let me go, miss? He says, still blushing. No, I don't think so. You'll be my little pillow for tonight, and you're already undressed. Should I follow your lead? She says, teasing him even more. Wait, I don't even know your name. He says, turning red from the woman. Right, I'm Anko Mitarashi, she says in a cheerful tone. I am Naruto Uzumaki. He says, still blushing, finally wiggling out of her grasp. Finally able to see her, and what he sees makes him blush even more. Anko is an average-sized woman, with light brown pupil-less eyes. A young woman who was a slender frame made for speed and dodging, while still keeping her womanly charms, which she has a lot of. D-cup breast, and a beautiful heart-shaped face, and smile similar to his. Beautiful, Naruto whispers out in shock of what he sees, which causes Anko to blush. Naruto turns around red-faced, embarrassed at himself for saying that out loud. Anko in shock. A 13-year-old she just met compliments gave her a more heartfelt compliment than the village has in years. Oh yeah, my plushie for the night. She walks up behind him and grabs him by the waist and snuggles against his whiskers, which causes him to purr. They both pause and look at each other, eyes wide. Kawaii, you're going to be my little fox plushie for life, she says, pushing his head into her valley. Fox plushie, not surprised she knows about the fox, but plushie for life, I don't mind if I can stay in her. No, I am not a pervert. Naruto jumps out of her arms, red-faced, with his fist up in a fighting stance. If you want me, you'll have to take me dead. Bring it on, Gaki, you are gonna regret that. They disappear in a comical cloud of smoke, punching, kicking, and biting, and a few lightning bolts. A few seconds later, Anko is standing with a shirtless Naruto over her shoulder with swirls in his eyes, while she has her ponytail frizzled thanks to the lightning bolts. Ha, Gaki will never beat me. Let's get him back to my place so we can cuddle. You know, for a kid who's 13, he has a nice body. I mean, look at his six-pack and lean body. Kikuku, he'll be a lady killer in a few years. Better get him while I can. Chapter 2 Progress. Anko's bedroom. Next morning, we find our blonde hero in a position many men of the village would kill for just to even be in for a little nap. Naruto has his head on the chest of Anko Mitarashi with a stupid smile on his face and a hand on her left breast. This was the best sleep I've ever had. And when did I get new pillows? They feel so soft and firm. Let me feel it again. Squeeze. A moan followed. Since when did pillows make noise? Better yet, it sounded like a moan. Naruto-kun, I didn't know you were so grabby so early in the morning. His eyes widened in horror as he remembered the events of last night. He shot up like a man possessed, eyes still wide with a red face. Anko-sen, I am sorry, I didn't mean to grab your holy objects you call breast. I mean your soft chest. I mean dashed. He was cut off by the laughter of the woman in bed with nothing but a white tank top that could barely keep her chest hidden and purple panties. Plushie-kun, you don't have to be so formal with me, just call me Anko-chan, okay? Okay, he says, still red-faced from her state of dress. Anko-chan, why do you live in this dangerous forest and not in the village like everyone else? He asked with a tilt of his head that reminded her of a fox kid and made her want to put his head in her breast again. Well, that's because I'm just like you in a way. The village also hates me and doesn't accept me, so I've just moved in here and only invite my little friends that I have here. She replies with a sad smile that makes his heart clench. But why? You seem like a nice person to me, although you may be a little crazy and lack clothes. The blonde says, blushing at her body again. Anko can't help but give him a smile at his answer. We just met and I all but kidnapped him, and he still says I'm a nice person. Huh. Stupid little Gaki. They hate me because of a seal like you, something my old teacher Orochimaru gave me. She said with clear anger. That makes Naruto notice a mark on her shoulder. Is this the mark you were talking about? He says, pointing at it. This makes Anko place a hand over it in defense. Naruto sits next to her on the bed and gives her a smile that warms her heart. Anko-chan, I will help you get rid of it. Just let me take a look at it and try to help you. Anko moves her hand to give him a look, and he recognizes it as a seal, but that's all he knows. Anko-chan, I promise that I will get better at seals and beat that snake shit up for you. Then I'll unseal it, and then you won't have to live with it anymore. He says with raw determination. This caused the pineapple hair woman to smile warmly at our blonde. Well, thank you, Gaki. If you do that, I'll give you a reward you are sure to remember. This causes Naruto to blush, but he does something bold. Well, I better get to it if I want that reward, he behind. He says with a wink that makes Anko blush and surprised at the same time. But she regains her composure and smiles devilishly. Naruto-kun, am I rubbing off on you already? She says, pushing his head in her breast, and whispers in his ear, which makes him shiver in pleasure, fright, and excitement. Anko-chan, I think you are, but I kind of like it, he says, smiling at her. That's my plushie, fall onto the dark side with me, she says, rubbing against his cheek. They both have a good laugh at that. Okay, Anko-chan, let's get up and eat, and then you can train me, he says, getting up only to blush at his state of dress. Where are my pants and why am I still shirtless? Anko can only sweat drop. He just now notices that? What a baka. Anko thinks with a sweat drop. Your clothes are being washed, and why would I train you? Well, you are pretty strong. I can sense it, and I want to learn under the great snake lady of the forest. Actually, it's the sexy and single Anko Mitarashi, she says with her hands in the air and a grin on her face. Oh, I see. Should I come up with a cool intro as well? That way everyone can know how cool I am. Yes, you should. It's something we will work on while I train you, she says, nodding her head like a great sage would. So that means you will train me, Anko-chan. That's so cool, he says, giving her a big smile and a hug. Naruto-kun, you can't keep your hands off me, can you? She says in a teasing tone. Naruto blushes and hides in her breast, causing her to laugh at him. We find the dynamic duo out in the forest of death, getting ready to train till the sun goes down. Okay, we will train until you go back to the academy for your team selection, and then your sensei will help you with the rest. She says, a little sad but trying to hide it with her smile, but Naruto picked up on it and saved it for later. Okay, Anko-sensei, he says, finally in clothes, but not his. He is wearing black jogging pants with black ninja sandals and a white tank top and a tan trench coat, just like Anko, much to her happiness. Okay, plushie, make 10 clones and send them to the library under Henge and have them focus on seduction, stealth, combat, and torture. Another 10 to climb trees and have them practice tree walking. I saw you did it yesterday, but that was because you were under pressure. I want it perfect. How do you know the secret to the shadow clones? It was in the scroll of sealing. A bastard Orochimaru may be, but a good teacher he was. she says with reluctancy. Now me and you will spar until one of those clones brings back a scroll for taijutsu you may like. Okay, Anko-sensei, shadow clone jutsu. A puff of smoke and 20 clones were in the clearing. You heard the lady, let's get to it. He shouts at copies of himself. Yes, boss. And off the clones were. What now, Anko-sensei? He turns to her with a raised eyebrow. Now you and I will fight, she says, releasing Jonin levels of Ki at him, which makes him sweat a lot. Why are you releasing that much Ki at me? It's to let you know I'm serious and get you used to this, because when you fight with other ninjas they are going to release much more, because they will be coming to kill you. He shakes his head and hardens his gaze, getting ready to train seriously. Okay, Anko-sensei, I am ready to get this started, he says with cold blue eyes and electrified voice, which gives Anko shivers of what she has no idea. Without wasting any time, they charge at each other. Naruto throws a straight punch that Anko dodges easily and hits him in the ribs hard, making him wince. But that does not stop him. He turns, aiming a hook to her left side, but she ducks down and rises up and gives him an uppercut, sending him in the air, and she jumps after him and gives him a falling drop kick, which he barely evades. Wow, Anko-sensei, that hurts, and you're really fast. I can barely see you, he says with a busted lip and dirt on his face and clothes. Anko gives him a foxy smile and says, well, I am a special Jonin, and I didn't get here just because of how good I look, she replies with pride in her voice. But I am not even going all out on you, should be able to get by with me at this speed, she says, falling in her Hebe style, and Naruto drops into a style with his left hand to his nose and right hand hovering over his stomach and legs spread. Then Naruto charges at her with a speed of that of a high chunin and hits that sting a little to her skin. He comes in with a right leg kick, but she blocks and swings him over to a tree, but he flips in mid-air and bounces off the tree back at her with a cocked back right fist. They clash, and a small shock wave that blows their hair and ruffles the leaves on the trees a bit. Not bad, Gaki, you put some strength behind that one, Anko replies with a grin. One that Naruto matches. Well, these muscles came from somewhere. I did a lot of physical activity in my free time, he replies with that smirk that looks like a fox, but little does he know a giant red eye with a black slit is watching behind a cage. After the clash, the two jump back and run at each other again. Anko throws a left punch and Naruto blocks with his right elbow, only to have to block a right hook with his left elbow left. He throws a high right kick, but she blocks, and they both jump back to gain space, only to run at each other again and clash punches, but it is broken by a clone of Naruto who swings at Anko, but she dodges to the left and throws a left kick and dispels it, only for the real Naruto to fly in with a hammer fist to knock her down, but she sidesteps and throws a barrage of kicks that all at Naruto and leave him on the ground gasping. Not bad, Naruto-kun, but dodge these. Hidden shot out snake hands. A bunch of snakes come out of her sleeves and aim at Naruto with fangs showing. He quickly jumps up and shots a blast of lighting from his hands, and it zaps the snakes away, but he was too slow to react to Anko behind him, who hits him to the ground. Man, this is going to be a long day, he says with a grin on his bloody face. It's midday, and we can see Naruto laying on the ground without a shirt thanks to his sadistic teacher, who burned his trench coat and white tank top off with a fireball jutsu. Trees on the ground thanks to the giant snakes that chased him around, with Anko laughing on top of it, throwing snakes and kunai at him, and even threw her wet panites at him that landed on his face. She apparently got off to making him suffer. Anko even kicked him through a couple of trees that broke a couple of bones. Hey, Anko-sensei, I can't move. I think I broke my legs when I fell out of that tree because those snakes tried to bite me, Naruto says in a hurting tone. Oh, don't worry, Naruto-kun, I'll carry you to my favorite place so we can eat, she says, throwing him over her shoulder much to his irritation. So are we going to get the food of the gods? He says happily. Yup, Anko says, in a cheery tone. Ramen. Dango. Naruto-kun, you did not just say that, did you? She says in a sweet tone, with a ghostly giant snake appearing behind her with its fangs out, causing Naruto to make his own inner beast to appear in the form of a giant red fox to appear with its teeth showing. This is the scene one Kurenai Yuhi shows up to see, causing her to sweat nervously. Kurenai is a close friend of Anko and also has the nickname of Konoha's Ice Queen. She is a fair-skinned woman of a slender build. She has long black hair, untamed hair reaching her upper back, with unique ruby red eyes with rings in them that look like Tomo. She wears makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. She wears what looks like bandages over a mesh shirt to cover up her D-cup breast and one red sleeve made for distracting enemies. Anko-chan. This shout knocks the two out of their trance. Oh, hello, Nai-chan. Anko says with a happy smile. What are you doing with a shirtless kid in the forest of death? She says looking at Naruto, who gives her a foxy smile. Oh, don't mind us, Nai-chan. Me and Anko were just getting hot and sweaty. He says to Kurenai, who raises her eyebrow at his way of talking to her. Until what he says clicks in, and she gives him a glare and releases ki on him. What do you mean getting hot and sweaty, you pervert? But to her surprise, the ki does nothing to him, and he looks over to a blushing Anko. Anko-chan, tell her. He says, still grinning. You don't say it like that, you baka. Anko says with a light dust of pink on her cheeks and smacks him upside the head because he's still over her shoulder. Anyways, we were about to go eat dango, the food of the gods. Sends a glare at Naruto, telling him to be quiet. Do you want to come with us, Nai-chan? This causes Naruto to make a lighting whip he learned how to make while running for his life from the giant snakes and smacks Anko's, but with it, which makes her eep and blush, then send a glare at him. Ah yes, but Anko, why does this kid who is only 13 have a lighting affinity so strong? I don't know. Hey, let's test it with chakra paper. Do you have any? Anko asked Giddy. Yes, I do. I picked some up for my future Genin team, but I guess I can spare one. She says, sweat dropping at her friend's antics. With that said, she pulls one out and hands it over to Anko, who snatches it away, making a tick mark appear on the woman's head. Okay, Naruto-kun, just channel your chakra into this, and we will see what happens after that, she says, putting him down off her shoulder. Naruto-kun, these two seem pretty close after they just met. Well, not surprised they are so similar. It's like they were made for each other. Okay, Anko-sensei. With that said, he did just that, and it shocks everyone at what they see. The paper split into 100 pieces, which then crumbled up into small balls, and then they all turned to water, which formed a large puddle at their feet. Is that supposed to happen? Naruto asked, uncertain. We have to go show the Hokage that a reaction like this can only mean a bloodline, said Kurenai with wide eyes. With that said, they all body flicker to the Hokage office. Old man, guess who's back? Naruto said, appearing with two companions in a body flicker. Show some respect, you perverted brat. Kurenai hits him over the head, which makes a huge bump appear over his head. Ah, what's your problem, Nai-chan? Why are you so uptight? You need to get laid, he yells at her. A tick mark appears on her head with a face red from anger or embarrassment. You little brat, she says, and proceeds to beat the already injured Naruto black and blue. Huff, what does he know about getting laid, little pervert? Everyone's sweat drops at the scene. Cough, Hokage-sama, we have important news to share with you, the snickering Anko says. What would that be? Anko, the laughing Hokage, says. We believe Naruto-kun has a bloodline, Anko says, getting a little bit more serious. Oh, you mean his storm release? Yes, we saw this yesterday, but we did not have any chakra paper, so I just guessed what it was, and I must be correct. Yes, Hokage-sama. We tested his affinity, and the paper was cut in 100 pieces, formed into small balls, and then formed a large puddle. Kurenai said with surprise, still in her tone. Wow, his water affinity is stronger than that of Tobirama-sensei. He, Naruto-kun, you are truly amazing. Maybe I should give him his parents' scrolls, and he can learn his mother's water jutsu and kenjutsu style along with his father's wind jutsu. Naruto-kun, you have the bloodline storm release. It is a very powerful bloodline that with enough control, you can cause mass storms. It is a combination of water and lighting nature chakra to make storm release. I got you, old man. I've already got a good handle on it, see? He says, and makes a lightning whip and throws it at the bookcase and grabs a rude umbu. Faster than Naruto can see, the old Hokage flashes to the umbu and jams a kunai in the umbu face mask, causing the body to slump over in Naruto's lighting whip, and the body caught fire. That Danzo, I swear I'm going to kill him. Like Naruto-kun said, I need to get my act together, and Naruto must be a censor. Naruto-kun, can you use water chakra to put this fire out? The Hokage asks in a firm tone not matching his age. I don't know how to use water yet, the blonde says sadly. Just picture your chakra flowing like water and pushing through everything like a rampaging storm, the Hokage says while making a sign for his umbu to go. Okay, old man. Naruto then closes his eyes to focus. Then to everyone's shock, water starts to form around him and quickly drops on the burning umbu and soaks the body and everyone else. Hi, did it, thanks, old man. Naruto pumps his fist up, unaware of the angry ruby-eyed woman approaching him from behind. Naruto-kun, Would you please come here and let me talk to you? She says in a voice too sweet for his liking. Everyone see the death god appear behind her laughing. See you, old man. I have to run for my life. Naruto says, jumping out the window. But not before making a lighting whip and smacking the snake mistress on her ass, sending an electric shock up her body, causing her to run behind Kurenai with an angry face. Uzumaki, you get your ass back here. The two women scream with all their womanly fury. CH. 3 team selections. Day of team placements. We can find Naruto doing something that has become one of his new favorite things to pass the time when there is nothing to do or his Naichan isn't there for him to tease her. Instead, he is running his fingers through the tails of one nine-tailed vixen named Kasumi, who is purring happily while laying across his bed in her Hanyu form since Naruto told her it would be okay to show what she really looks like in the comfort of his run-down apartment. He can't help but laugh at how they meet. Flashback. Anko-chan, I think I've de-drunk enough. Haven't we celebrated enough over my new discovery? He speaks with red cheeks due to the alcohol or the way Anko has her breast on his head. Jigaki, you lightweight. Ha can't hold your LIQ dashed. She was cut off when she passed out due to how much drinking she had did that night, and Naruto had to carry the drunk Anko home, getting weird looks from the villagers. When they got to her house, he put her in the bed, but as he tried to get away, she pulled him down into his favorite place to rest. I was going to go home and work off this drunken state, but this is fine. Mindscape. Why am I in a sewer, and why am I still drunk? I can't even stand straight. Damn, Anko-chan, we need to bring Kurenai-chan with us next time. She is the responsible one. Well, let's go explore. He then runs off without a care in the world. After a few minutes of just stumbling around, he finds himself in front of a cage, and because of the state he is in, logic goes out the window, and he just runs up to it, but trips and falls on his face, dogging a giant claw, but he doesn't seem to notice. Stupid Ninjin, can't even run straight. I'm amazed you got so strong with that stupid bloodline of yours. A voice in the darkness says, Hey, who you calling a stupid Ninjin? You must not know who I am. I am the pie-eating, trailblazing eyebrow, raising jabroni, beating, heart-stopping, elbow-dropping Naruto Uzumaki. A moment of silence followed. No one even moved, but Naruto still had that grin on his face. Ha ha, that was actually pretty good. You are a very entertaining Ninjin. Hee, I just came up with that now. I wonder if Anko-chan will like it. He says with a hand behind his head and a grin that could split his face. But now that I'm not so drunk, I can only assume you are the QB, and this is inside the seal, and this is a representation of my mind. Naruto says with a serious gaze looking into the darkness. A giant red eye with a black slit appears, followed by giant teeth, and a grinning face makes Naruto match its grin. Maybe I was wrong, and you are not a stupid Ninjin. Are you a boy or girl? The question came from the blonde, who had a questioning gaze aimed at the fox. Really? That is the first thing you decide to ask me. It just makes talking to you a lot easier and not calling you in it. The QB eyes him for a second, deciding if it should reveal such information to the Baka Ninjin. I am a woman that you have never seen before, said the now female fox with pride in her tone. Oh, my ramen gods, up above the strongest bijou is a woman, and a prideful one at that. Oh man, wait until Kurenai-chan hears that she is going to be happy for the rest of her life. What? You have a problem with that, Ninjin? The vixen says, releasing some ki on him that makes him nervous. And no, I think that is really good for all the females in the world who are put down because of sexist men, and you have really nice fur. It makes me want to just lay in it all day. Oh, really? Why you think so? The QB says in a more softer female voice. Yes, I do. You could be a pillar of strength for all the women of the world. All you would need is a more human appearance and be a little nicer, and you might just become a role model similar to Tsunade Senju. Well, I do have a Hanayo form if you would like to see it, but you would have to do something for me. What would that be? Naruto says with a raised eyebrow. You need to change this place up a bit and give me messages anytime I ask for them. She says in a tone of arrogance, as if talking to someone lower than her. That seems reasonable. I could imagine being in a sewer 24/7 would suck. He then closes his eyes so that he can focus on changing his mindscape, and little by little the place gains light. The water is replaced with grass. The walls become huge trees, and the sound of following water could be heard as a river along with a small waterfall can be seen coming out of the ground. Now tell me this isn't awesome, the blonde says, pumping a fist in the air. The QB is speechless as to what has just happened. She was not expecting the little human to do such a good job on his first try. But then she stops and looks for the seal and sees it on a rock under a tree. Thank you, Naruto, and now as promised prepare to be amazed by my beauty. In a flash of light, the giant fox can be seen getting smaller until a human form is seen then, and there Naruto sees a sight he will never forget. Standing there is a woman with orange hair with red fox ears on top of her head, hair that goes down to the middle of her back followed by the 9 orange fox tails. She still has those blood-red eyes with fox slits, and now red lipstick and a narrow jawline. DD cup breast and an hourglass figure that makes men's heads turn and plump thighs that make the world go round. Next thing that happens is Naruto is blown back to the seal and hits it and cracks it. Upon seeing this, Kyuubi fears the worst because her chakra starts leaking to Naruto a bit, but suddenly stops when Naruto sees this and fixes the rock by imaging it the way it used to be. Now that could have been bad, haha. The laughing blonde catches something flying towards his head, and it's soft. He then starts to rub his face in it only to stop when he hears a moan come from the Kyuubi. Kyuubi-san, I am dash. He is cut off when she raises a hand to stop him. Kasumi is my name, Jay, just don't stop rubbing my tails. Okay, Jay, just put some clothes on, you're naked, the blushing blonde says. She then puts on a red kimono with little red foxes on it. The kimono is open, showing some cleavage. It only reaches to her thighs and stops, showing her long legs. She wears red ankle socks to finish the outfit. Happy now, she says with a red face, cause Naruto has started brushing her tails. This is going to be a great friendship, Kasumi-chan. The grinning blonde says that makes the redhead blush a little. Baka. And flashback. Wake up, Kasumi-chan, I have team placements today, and I don't want to be late. The blonde says, whispering in her fox ears, giving them a little pat. Naruto-kun, why do you have to strike them with your new storm release jutsu that leveled the forest clearing? She says, pouting. Kasumi-chan, I did that jutsu, and the whole village was in a thunderstorm for the rest of the day, and then I had to tell the old man what I did. He says with a sweet drop. Look, just become a little fox and I can take you with me when I fly there. He says with a smirk, knowing how much her and Anko like that. She transforms into the size of an Inuzuka pup and instantly grins up at Naruto, who is also grinning. You know, I still find it hard to believe I can fly using wind release, man. I love those shadow clones. We really flew all over the village that day, haha. Yeah, just get dressed and let's go flying. Yip, the happy fox. Okay, Jez, you can be really impatient sometimes. A smack upside his head by a tail, and he's up and moving. Naruto can be seen wearing black Umbu-style sandals, so he can stay light on his feet. A black t-shirt with the kanji storm over his seal and a tan trench coat like Anko she got him as a gift for buying her dango. His headband tied on his forehead along with a sheath katana on his waist hidden by the coat. He picked up because his clone found a style called Moonlight Sword style. The style uses brute force or flexibility when needed, but it is not really used because masters of the sword have a bloody life ahead of them. But a little blood never stopped Naruto from getting what he wanted. The sword is about 2 feet long. The handle is black and the guard is in the shape of a yin-yang symbol, while the blade is silver made for cutting through the flesh of enemies. Okay, I'm ready to go, Kasumi-chan, hop on. She then climbs onto the top of his head and walks to his window and jumps out and takes flight to the academy. Along the way, the people of the red light district wave to him and give him nice smiles, and the women call out to him. Naruto-sama, when will you come give us a visit? A horde of women from the brothels come to ask him the same thing. He gives them a sexy smirk that shows his longer fangs that makes them all swoon. I'm telling you, Kasumi-chan, it's like they don't know. I'm only 13. Well, you look like a 15-year-old with all the physical training you've been doing for years, and not to mention you're always giving the people of this area high-quality goods you steal from the nobles, and stop doing that, you are going to get in real trouble, she says while smacking his head with her paws. I didn't know you cared so much about me, Kasumi-chan. Am I not just a baka ninja anymore? He says with a knowing look. Luckily, her fur can hide her blush because her face was burning red. Be baka ninja, don't ever think about something like that again. Once he exited the red light district, it's back to the glares of hatred while the kids look in awe at the flying boy and fox. It's crazy how the people who are considered the outcast of the village treat me better than this. Well, that's because they can kinda understand what you are going through, and you've also helped these people a lot, and they respect you for that, she says, a little sadly, feeling guilty. Naruto then turns and is now flying with his back to the ground and Kasumi on his stomach. Hey, I told you not to think that. None of this is your fault, so stop blaming yourself, he says in a soft tone while rubbing her head. Kasumi then gives him a smile, or as much as a fox could give with those sharp teeth. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she says, feeling better. Now what do you say? We make an epic entrance Anko style, he says, giving her a foxy grin. She yips happily. Next thing, the villagers see Naruto become covered in blue lighting and disappear in a bolt. Academy. In one classroom, we can see a bunch of kids talking and laughing, all excited or nervous for the test about to happen today. The civilian children sit at the bottom, while the clan heir are at the top of the class. We can see a black-haired boy with the hair of a duck, but by the window with girls giving him eyes with hearts while he ignores them. This is Sasuke Uchiha, the last loyal Uchiha of the Leaf. Above him we can see a boy with red fang markings on his face. This is Kiba Inuzuka with his best friend Akamaru on his head. Next to him, we can see a boy in a green overcoat with sunglasses and a small humming coming from him. His name is Shino Aburame. To the left of them, we can see a boy with spiky black hair that looks like a ponytail and a lazy face. This is Shikamaru Nara. Next to him is a fat boy with swirls on his face. His name is Choji Akimichi. In the top row, we can see a girl with midnight blue hair and lavender eyes. This is Hinata Hyuga. She is looking around like she is trying to find someone. It is a known fact in the class that she has a massive crush on one Naruto Uzumaki, but he does not know. Naruto-kun, I hope that you passed. A rumbling can be heard coming to that class, and everyone covers their ears and sits down because they know what is going to happen. Ino pig, I win. First I get to sit next to my Sasuke-kun, said a girl with bright pink hair and a big forehead. This is Sakura Haruno. No you didn't, can't you see I'm in front of you, forehead girl, says a girl with platinum blonde hair and pupil sky blue eyes. They rush up to the duck-haired boy to sit next to him and then start to fight over who sits next to him. They are forced to stop when the outside gets dark, and they can see the clouds darken and lightning start to strike down and thunder boom across the sky. Everyone all over the village looks up to see what is going on, and the people of the red light district start to cheer loud, and the Hokage can only rub his head and smoke his pipe at seeing what is going on. Back in the classroom, everyone is looking outside when they see a lightning bolt come flying at their school. All the kids scream and hide under the desk until it makes contact. The windows break, and something has landed in the class. The kids peek from under the desk to see what is going on, and what they see, all the girls blush and the boys look in awe. Hello, my future comrades. I, Naruto Uzumaki, have come. Hinata with a red face looking in awe and a bloody nose along with most of the girls, even Sakura and Ino can't help but blush. The boys are jealous and Sasuke is green with envy along with the furious Kiba. And in Naruto, is that you? Asked the hesitant Ino with a red face at how handsome Naruto looks. Naruto gives her a charming smile and walks real close to her, making her even redder. Yes, it is Ino-chan, do you like what you see? He says, kissing her hand. This causes her to faint along with Hinata. One girl is not buying it though. Naruto baka, don't do that again. She runs to him with her fist cocked, ready to punch him, only to be shocked when he grabs her fist and backhands her and gives her a cold glare. Don't do that again, he says in a cold tone amplified by the growling fox on his shoulder. He then walks up to sit down next to the passed-out Hinata and picks her up and sits her in his lap, much to everyone's shock. But this makes One Mud angry. What do you think you are doing with my mate? Yelled the angry Kiba, who is charging him only to stop when he is shot with a water bullet to the face by the blonde, who gives him an icy gaze. Sit down. He adds some ki to get his point across. Everyone is shocked at this display, even the jounin watching. Hokage office. Everyone in the office was slack-jawed at what just happened in such a short amount of time. Hokage-sama, this is real and not a joke, is it? Said a bearded man named Asuma, who looks like a young Hiruzen. A one-eyed cyclops with silver hair has a wide eye and an orange book on the floor. Kakashi, did you see that? Says Asuma with shock. Hokage-sama, if I am correct, that is the storm-release bloodline from Kyumo. How does he have that? Asked Kakashi, because he saw it in the last war. Indeed, he unlocked during the scroll incident and has been training with it in the Forest of Death for the past week, but I didn't think he would progress so fast. But he does know the Shadow Clone Jutsu secret, so I'm guessing that how, said the old Hokage, much to that shock of everyone. Yup, that's my Gaki right, Nai-chan. Anko says, pulling Kurenai in a hug. Anko, Kurenai, you know this kid? Asked Asuma with shock. Yes, we do know him, but I wish I didn't because he's a little pervert. Kurenai says with a little bit of red on her face, remembering some of the things Naruto has done to her. How do you know him? Asked Kakashi, wanting information. Well, he came to the Forest of Death and started fighting animals and training his new power. Long story short, I sent a giant snake after him, and he killed it with one shot and half an area. Everyone was shocked at the fact that Jinin beat Anko's snake. And how do you know him, Kurenai? Asked Asuma, because he saw her red face and has a crush on her and wants to know if this Gaki is a threat to his women. Well, I ran into him and Anko fighting in the forest, and then I beat him black and blue for being a pervert. She says with a smirk on her face at the end of her statement. The whole room sweet drop at her answer. She was just upset that he got her all wet. All the males get the wrong idea and have nosebleeds. Shut up, Anko, or no dango for a month, she say red-faced. Come on, don't be like that, I'll let you cuddle with him if you want. Anko says, giving her puppy dog eyes. Why would I want to do that with him? I swear you both are perverts, she says, blushing at the idea. Can we just get back to the class? Said Kakashi, wanting to know more about his sensei's son. Classroom. Iruka walks in to see a classroom completely silent and wide-eyed. He can see a shaking Kiba and Akamaru. Ino and the rest of the girls are blushing, looking at Naruto brushing the hair of a sleeping Hinata in the lap of Naruto. The girls are sending the smiling Hinata herd glares, and the boys are the same to Naruto. Oh, K-class, let's get to what we all came for, which is your team. This snaps everyone out of their gaze. Teams 1 dashed. Naruto tunes him out and continues to stroke both Hinata and Kasumi, making the fox wag its tail back and forth. Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and a random civilian ninja who isn't worth anything. Your sensei is Kakashi Hitaki. Sakura sits next to Sasuke, and the civilian ninja comes to sit next to them, but Sakura punches him away. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and your sensei is Kurenai Yuhi. Naruto shakes Hinata up. In Naruto-kun, Hinata asked, looking confused at where she is sitting. Hello, Hinata-chan. Did you have a good sleep? He spoke huskily in her ear, making her shiver. She then notices where she is and jumps up with a red face and sits back in her seat, rubbing her fingers and legs together, then passes out with a nosebleed. Hokage office. That little pervert, when I get my hands on him, I'm gonna wring his neck, yelled the enraged Jonin, being held back by Anko. Now are you just upset he didn't do it to you? Anko says, teasing her. Anko. Class. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choju Akimichi, and your sensei will be Asuma Sartobi, said the ready-to-leave Iruka. Iruka-sensei, what about my team? Asked the whiskered blonde. Ha, dead, last you don't get a team, loser, shouted the Inuzuka. Before anyone could react, Naruto kicked him in the face. Now the next person who calls me that will get the same thing. Silence. Iruka-sensei, you can get back to it, he says, going back to his seat. Iruka sweat dropped. Yeah, your team is, but before he could continue, he is interrupted when a brown blur hits him. It is revealed to be Anko Mitrashur. Plushie-kun, I am your sensei, but you better run to our training ground, you have an angry Nai-chan after you. At that moment, the other sensei came into the room. And like she said, Kurenai is sending massive Ki, and Naruto, who is just sitting there with a charming smile that melts her anger away. Hello, Kurenai-chan, you are looking as beautiful as ever I see, he says, walking up to her, grabbing her hand and kissing it. This makes her blush and turn her head to keep him from looking. He then grabs her by the waist and pulls her to him, and he is looking in her eyes deeply because he is standing at 5 feet 6 inches to her 5 feet 5 inches of height. This makes her blush even more. Don't be mad at me. I promise I can make it up to you, he says in her ear, giving her earlobe a bite, making her knees a little weak. Anko pushes them apart, blushing at the show, while Kurenai's whole face is red and the males are wide. Let's go to Naruto-kun. We have things to do. She then disappears, but not before Naruto smacks Kurenai on the ass, making her jump and blush more. Forest of Death. Okay, Naruto-kun, what you have to do is find me somewhere in this forest, and then you pass, and I give you a good reward, she says, giving him a sexy smirk, and Naruto returns it. Well, Anko-sensei, you can consider this test pass. I'm gonna find you, he says with a confident smirk. Well, if you are so sure, come and get me. She disappears in a puff of smoke. Kasumi-chan, you got her smell right. He looks to the fox wrapped around his neck like a scarf. She wags her tail in front of his face. I will get it, but what do I get if I do this? She said, smirking. Oh, well, I guess I could rub that spot that you can't get yourself and apply that oil on your dash. She cuts him off with a smack from her tail. Don't speak any more baka ninjin, she says, blushing under her fur. He can only chuckle and shoot in a bolt of lighting after his sexy sensei. Somewhere in the forest, Enko can be seen riding on a giant snake running from her handsome student. That gaki's fast and probably has that fox on my scent trail. As if on perfect time, lighting strikes, wind blades and water blades are coming out of the sky and are closing in on her and the snake. She replaces herself with a log just in time to avoid being struck by all that. My God, he can use all three of his elements. Why did I agree to this? Enko thinks to herself, crying anime tears. Well, as long as he doesn't use his storm release, I should be able to win. As if being cursed by the gods, she sees Naruto and 3 clones going through hand signs. Storm release circuit. Naruto shouts and multiple light blue rays of lightning rush and Enko, who can 18 light beams coming at her. She ducks, spins, jumps and dodges, but still gets hit in the shoulder, left leg and right arm. Damn, it disrupted my nervous system, and now I can't even feel where he hit me. She then turns and launches a volley of shuriken and appears behind Naruto with a heel drop, but Naruto makes arms out of lighting to grab Enko, and he blocks Enko's shuriken with his own kunai. Got you, Enko-sensei. Naruto says, only to be surprised when the Enko turns into mud. Not surprised she isn't a special jounin for nothing. Naruto thinks to himself. A little ways away, Enko is limping in the cover of trees and bushes while trying to wrap her leg in bandages so she can recover. Got to be quick before he. Her thoughts were cut off when she hears the sound of rushing water. Found you. The statement came from Naruto on top of a raging wave. Water-style water shockwave. Naruto shouts with a wide grin on his face. Someone help me. Those were the last thoughts she had before the waves hit her and was tossed around until she passed out. You think we went overboard, Kasumi-chan? Naruto asked as he walks to the Enko who is soaked in water. Now she did have those snakes almost eat you, responded Kasumi. Yeah, you're right, let's bring her to the hospital so we can get that reward. He says, smirking. You pervert. Kasumi says. CP. 4. Hospital. Enko-chan, I said I was sorry, can you please send you snakes away? You are not even supposed to be moving. Naruto replied, wrapped up in snakes to the neck. No, you got me all wet and not the good kind, you even messed up my favorite trench coat with your stupid storm release circuit. The bandaged cover, Enko says, waving her hand childishly. Enko-chan, if you release your snakes, I'll take you out on a date to anywhere you like. In an instant, all the snakes puff away in smoke and Enko can be seen smiling brightly. You promise, Naruto-kun. It's a promise of a lifetime. He says, giving her a thumbs up. Well, tomorrow when I get out of the hospital at 8 p.m., I would like to go somewhere in the red light district where they all worship you, even the Yakuza. She says with a bright smile still on her face. Well, do you have a specific place in mind that you would like to go? He asked her with a raised eyebrow. Well, can you get us into the Raging Fox? It's a new restaurant that just opened up. Speaking of fox, where is that fox you had during the test? She says, looking around for it. Oh, her name is Kasumi, and she is back at my apartment, probably sleeping. He says with a laugh. Naruto apartment. We can see Kasumi in nothing but one of Naruto's big shirts and red socks sliding across the place, singing with a makeshift microphone in her hand. He licked me like a lollipop. He licked me like a lollipop. He licked me like a lollipop. Shawty want a thug. I don't own the song, Lil Wayne does. Back to hospital. Yeah, she can be really lazy sometimes. He said with a laugh. But don't worry about that, Enko-chan, I'll go set everything up and get some more training in. Oh, you also have to go to the Hokage meeting later, so remember that. He then gets up and kisses her on the forehead, getting a little blush from her. Then he goes to the window and flies off. Enko can only sigh at her situation. Man, I really think I am starting to fall in love with Plushie-kun. That makes her blush, but then she remembers the Hokage meeting. I am going to lose so much face at that place when I tell them how he beat me. She says, crying anime tears. Streets of Konoha. Naruto has just landed from his flight and starts walking to the red light district, getting the usual looks of hatred from the older adults, while some ninjas give him nods of respect, while the kids still stare at him in awe because he can fly, while the girls eye him like a piece of meat. A ball bounces in front of his path and 5 kids come to get it. Hello kids, did you lose this? He says kindly. The kids recognize him and all get stars in their eyes. A brown-haired girl walks up to him and asks, Hey, you're the guy who can fly. Can you take us flying, please? she says, giving him the puppy dog eyes and quivering lips. Oh man, even the kids know this jutsu must look away, but I can't. He then drops his head in defeat. Fine, but you need to ask your parents first. He tells them. They run off to their parents and ask, Kachan, can we go flying with that guy, please? The parents look at Naruto with hatred but decide to let it happen for their kids' sake. Fine, but nothing better happened to our kids, or you are going to get it. Naruto only rolls his eyes at their weak ki. Nothing will happen to your kids. I am a professional, he says with a grin. The kids run to him with bright smiles. Shadow clone jutsu, the blonde proclaimed. For shadow clones appear and pick the kids up on his back, and then he blasts off in the air, and the only thing that can be heard are the laughing kids. This leaves everyone looking at the blonde in a new way. They think they might have been wrong to him. It's sunset and Naruto can be seen in the red light district going to the Raging Fox, getting reservations for him and Anko. Naruto-sama, what can we do for you here? One of the waiters asked, bowing along with everyone else. I would like a reservation tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for me and Anko Mitarashi. Will that be okay? He asked, smiling at the respect he gets from the people. Oh, of course, Naruto-sama will be all you need today. Yes, it is, he says, and then walks away. All right, time to get some training done. He then sees two people in green spandex with bowls haircuts and bushy eyebrows. Well, these guys look like they need another partner. Without further ado, he ran up next to them. Hello, our youthful friend, how can we help you today? The older one asks. Do you wish to bask in the springtime of youth with us? The younger one asks while they are all still running. What is youth and springtime? Naruto asked, confused only to be surprised when they both stopped and looked at him in horror. Leave this an emergency, we must help our fellow comrade understand the joys of youth. Yes, Gai-sensei, the now named Lee says with fire in his eyes. The springtime of youth is when you train to better yourself in any way possible. You put in the effort to accomplish any goal by blood, sweat, and tears. It's about drive, it's about power, put in the work and put in the hours. Mike Guy says with Lee writing it all down in a notepad. Naruto then looks in understandment. Well, can I join you on your youthful training? I want to really feel the burn today. The two look in shock before it turns to excitement, and they cry youthful tears. Of course you can. They both shout. What is your name, my youthful friend? Guy asked with a thumbs up and sparkling teeth. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Well, Naruto-kun, let's get to it by running 100 laps around the village, and then 500 push-ups, and then 500 sit-ups, then climb the Hokage monument with boulders on our back, then we have an all-out spar. Naruto loses a little color at all the workouts only to be replaced with a grin because he is getting what he wanted. Hokage Tower. All the Jonin sensei are in the Hokage office waiting for one extra Jonin so they can finally start the meeting. While waiting, they often saw the trio of Guy, Lee, and Naruto running laps around the village, and to everyone's shock, he was keeping up with them, and that is an achievement in itself because everyone knows how much stamina those two have. They even saw him flying with kids. Hokage-sama, what is that boy made of? Not only is he working out with those two, but he is flying kids around on his back. I can't even do that with my wind manipulation yeet. Asuma said, slack-jawed along with the other Jonin, except the slightly recovered Anko and healthy Kurenai. Sorry I was late, Hokage-sama. I saw kids flying in the sky and stayed inside because I thought the world was ending, said the one-eyed man. Only to be shocked when the old Kage shot him with heavy ki that sent him on one knee and made everyone else nervous. Listen here, Kakashi, I let your lateness slide for too long. Now you are a grown man, you need to grow up and get your shit together. When I call you, I want to hear, not whenever you feel like it. Do you understand me? Why yes, Hokage-sama, the kneeling Jonin says. Then the ki vanished. Okay, everyone, we are here to see who passed and who didn't. The leader of teams 1 to 6 failed. Kakashi, leader of Team 7. Pass. Everyone is shocked. Explain, said the old Kage in an authoritative voice. While Sasuke Uchiha is worthy of his title Rookie of the Year. This gains a snort from Anko and Kurenai. Anyways, he shot a fireball at me as a cover for Sakura Haruno and the civilian ninja to flank me with weapons and try to snatch the bells, but it didn't work and I tied them up, but because they worked together I passed them. Okay, that is good, next teammate, said the Hokage looking at Kurenai. I gave my team a tracking test by telling them to find me. They worked together with Shino's bugs and Kiba's senses along with Hinata's bloodline to find me. Okay, we have a future tracker team. Next, Team 10. The Hokage looked at his son for his report. For my team, I just told them they had to keep me still, and they used perfect teamwork to keep me still for the 5 seconds. As to be expected, those kids are basically siblings. Now, Anko, can you please tell me how you ended up in a hospital and are so injured? Said the Hokage, already having an idea. Well, you see, I kind of. She mumbled the last part with a blush and looked down. Anko, can you speak up? We didn't catch that last part, said the smiling Kurenai at being able to tease her friend for once. I said I got beat up there, are happy now. The blushing Anko said she couldn't believe what was happening to her thanks to that Gaki. Anko, are you telling me your student sent you to the hospital? Said Kakashi with one wide eye. You guys didn't see him, he found me and started to shoot wind blades along with water blades at me. Then when I could get away, he used a jutsu called Storm Release Circuit on me, and 18 beams came from the 3 shadow clones, and I was hit in the leg, arm, and shoulder. Said Anko, trying to save face. But that's not all. When I tried to hit him from his blind spot, he made arms of lighting come from his back, and then tried to fry me on the spot. Wow, this kid is amazing. I see why you put him on a solo team. Nobody would be able to keep up with him, said Asuma, a little jealous of the kid. Yeah, I just hope he doesn't end up like another Itachi, or we will have to put him down, said the serious Kakashi. That statement got different reactions from other people. The Jonin that still hates Naruto nodded in agreement, while the ones who like him send glares at the other occupants. While the Hokage and Anko, Kurenai, send ki to all of them, making them quiet. Kakashi, watch what you say. I'll have you know, as much of the things that have happened to him, he is still willing to stay loyal to the village that does not deserve him, said the angry Hokage. Sorry. The Jonin puts his head down in shame. Now, Anko, is there any more you would like to give on what happened? Asked the Kage, looking back at Anko. Yes, he knocked me out using water-style water shockwave, and it was like a massive wave the size of fully grown trees, and he hit me with it, and I was tossed around in the water and passed out. Wow, I should give him the water exercise of the second Hokage, so he can push his water manipulation even further. Hiruzen thought to himself. Well, everyone go home, this meeting is over. Anko, you go get some rest, you look like you could use it. The Hokage dismissed everyone. Outside, the Jonin go their separate ways while some stick together like Anko, Kurenai, Kakashi, and Asuma, who look like they want to ask some questions. How can I help you? Asuma asked Kurenai, looking at the nervous Asuma. Well, I wanted to know if you want to go out on a date tomorrow. Kurenai was shocked at what he said because she too had feelings for him, but the feelings were going away because she had noticed how sometimes he would look at her, and it was not how Naruto would look at her with love and playfulness. That made her blush. Asuma sees this, though she would say yes, but is surprised when she shakes her head no. Sorry, Asuma, I don't want to go on a date with you, I don't see you that way, said Kurenai, giving him a weak smile. Anko pumps her fist slightly. Oh, okay, maybe some other time. He then body flickers away, leaving only Kakashi reading his orange book and the 2 women who are irritated at this. And what do you want? Asked Anko, giving him a heated glare. Now there is no need to be like that. I just want to know if you can tell me more about your student, he says, giving her a nice smile. And why would I give up information on him like that? Anko said, getting a little suspicious of the man along with Kurenai. Well, information is key to a ninja, and if you want to know more about him, you are going to have to ask him yourself, because I will not be telling you, she says, a little hostile. Fine, is all he said, then he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Well, now that he is gone, Nai-chan, I am going on a date with Naruto-kun, she says, jumping in the surprised Kurenai's arms. What a date when? Asked Kurenai with wide eyes. Tomorrow, it's going to be perfect because it's going to be in the red light district, and that place loves him. Oh, I see, I hope you have fun, she says, trying to walk away to not show Anko how sad she is. Look, Kurenai, just stop fighting it and admit that you like him, and then you can also go on a date with him. I don't mind sharing with you, Anko says, pulling her back, causing Kurenai to blush at what she said. Oh, really, you would do that for me? Said the red-faced Kurenai. Of course I would, right, Naruto-kun, Anko said, causing Kurenai to turn around to look for her Naruto-kun, only to hear the laughing Anko on the ground, holding her stomach, laughing at her. Oh, so you think this is funny? Well, I got something for you, Kurenai says, going through hand signs that make Anko take off running with Kurenai chasing her. Next morning, we can see Naruto running morning laps around the village in black ninja sandals and black umbu pants with no shirt, causing all the girls he passes to stare at his body that is dripping with sweat. Next to him is his teacher Anko, running with him in similar appearance, except she has on a black sport bar, causing her chest to bounce every time she runs. Okay, Anko-sensei, we have 50 more laps, and that 100 think you can keep up. I am going to be moving at Jonin speeds now. He says challenging, causing her to smirk at him. Naruto-kun, I was doing this before you were even walking. The question is, can you keep up with me? She says and takes off at Jonin speeds, only becoming a purple blur to those who can't keep up with her, only to be passed by a golden blur that sounded like it was laughing. Get back here, Gaki, is what she said before speeding up. They are neck and neck, but are joined by others like Mike Guy with his famous smile and his copy Rock Lee with the same smile. Hello, my youthful comrades. Let U.S. Bath, Indiana, the springtime of youth, he says loudly. The green duo then pulls ahead of Naruto and Anko, who smirk at the challenge before passing the two. Loser has to do 50 more laps, Naruto says before blasting off laughing. The green duo gets fire in their eyes and dash off after them. Naruto-kun, my eternal rival, I shall not lose, said Lee with fire. Way to go, Lee, let's go. The ninja can barely see the people running through the village. Only the Jonin can see them. It's the last lap, Anko-sensei, hold on, and we got this victory, said the sweet-covered Naruto, looking back at the panting Anko. Don't worry about me, just keep going, she says, barely being able to keep up with her student. No, we finished this together, he says, picking her up and putting her over his shoulder, getting a smack to the head. At least warn me next time, you ass, she says to him. This caused the blonde to chuckle. And you have a nice ass, he says, giving it a smack, causing her to blush. Just run, you perv. In the back, Mike Guy picks up Rock Lee because he cannot keep up anymore. Lee, Naruto-kun is right, we finished together, he says, speeding up, and is right next to Naruto now. The two racers are neck and neck and can see the finish line with a small crowd cheering them on. The two are about to cross the line, and time slows down watching the two pass, and they are neck and neck. They too pass the line and collapse, breathing hard, out of breath. The two sit up to look at the other ninja to ask who won. It was a tie, said one Genma with a senbon in his mouth. Good race, Guy-sensei. We really bathed in the springtime of youth this morning, said the smiling blonde. Yes, Naruto-kun, we will have a rematch. Naruto then gets up with Anko still on his shoulder and starts to walk off to the house of Anko, who had passed out due to how tired she was. Okay, goodbye, guys, I'll see you around, he says, waving his hand. Later that day. Okay, Anko, no need to be nervous, it's just you and Naruto-kun going out on a date. You two hang out all the time, said Yuego Yuzuki, one Anko's closest friends. Yeah, I can always see you two having a good time around the village, said Hana Inazuka, another one of Anko's closest friends. You look fine, Anko. That dress suits you perfectly, said Kurenai. Anko can be seen in a purple dress that goes down to her ankles with a high split on her left leg, giving her legs room to move and show. It is held up by two straps that lay on her shoulders. She has her hair down to her shoulders and hangs over her breast that are visible due to the slit in the chest area. Are you sure? Maybe I should. She is cut off when a knock sounds at her door. All the girls quiet down, and they push Anko to the door to open it. When she opens the door, they all see Naruto in a white button-up with an orange tie and black slacks, along with black dress shoes that Kasumi picked out for him. Wow, Anko-chan, you look beautiful. I think I can die in peace now, he said, giving her a warm smile. This makes all the girls blush hard. Thank you, and Naruto-kun, you look really handsome as well. He grabs her hand and kisses it, making her blush more. Shall we go home? I want her back by 10, mister, and keep your hands to yourself, Kurenai says, yelling at him, only to be ignored when Naruto puts his hands on Anko, but causing the girls to giggle at the red-faced Kurenai. I swear I'm gonna kill him one day. Well, do it after I can get a shot at him, said Hana with a small blush on her face. The two girls whipped their heads to her in surprise. Hana-chan, would you really date him? Asked Yugao. Yes, I can just sense it coming off him. He is alpha male, and there is no doubt about it, and not like my stupid brother who thinks he is just an alpha and everyone should submit to him, she says, a little heated. On the streets, the two turn heads when they walk, and they can't help but smile at the shocked faces everyone has at seeing them. When they make it to the restaurant, the two are escorted to the roof where it is just the two of them alone, and they conversate and get to know a little bit more about each other while laughing and smiling the whole time while blushing at the teasing the two did towards each other. Well, Anko-chan, this has been a great night, and I hope we can do this some other time, he says, holding her hand, walking up to her house in the forest of death. Yes, Naruto-kun, I've had a really good time tonight, but you should take Kurenai-chan. She also would like one, but won't say it. Anko says with her head on Naruto's shoulder, just enjoying being right next to him. We are here, and just in time before anything bad could have happened to me. They both chuckle at that. The two just look at each other lovingly before gradually getting closer to each other until their lips meet for a kiss, and Naruto pulls Anko closer to him while grabbing her by the waist, making her gasp, and takes advantage by shoving his tongue in her mouth, showing who is in control while moving his hands to the slit in her dress, giving her nice thigh slow rubs. The two are interrupted when they hear a thud and can see three girls on the floor with major nosebleeds. Well, good night, Anko-chan. He says, giving her one more kiss goodbye before he turns around and disappears in a water body flicker. Anko sighs happily and turns around and skips to her bedroom with a goofy smile on her face. When Naruto gets home, he can see a tuft of orange hair in his bed sleeping peacefully. He strips to just a tank top and boxers and gets in bed next to her, and she rolls over on top of him, whispering Naruto-kun in her sleep. He kisses her forehead, making her smile in her sleep. Good night, Kasumi-chan. He then falls asleep with a smile on his face. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since Naruto had been put on a team with Anko. Speaking of Anko, she had never been so happy in her life. Even the villagers that would always insult her could not bring her down. Her relationship with Naruto had been going perfect. They would train together, and because of that she had also gotten a little stronger. She could not beat Asuma, who used to be a guard for the fire daimyo. Naruto just seemed to get even stronger when he went to go ask for water scrolls from the Hokage, and the deals he got out of that was just amazing. Flashback. Hey old man, I need you to help me with something. Naruto says to the Hokage behind the desk filling out paperwork. What would you need my help with, Naruto-kun? Asked the old man with a raised eyebrow at the trench coat wearing blonde. I wanted to know if you have any water exercise I could do so I can become better at water jutsu. Well, I do, but why would I give it to you who is only a genin? The Hokage said with an amused smirk. Oh, so that's how we are going to play it. Naruto then walks around the office eyeing the old man until he goes over to the picture of Tobirama and eyed it for a second. You know, old man, I really admire the second. He is my favorite Hokage. He has done so much. He set the village on a good track after the death of the first. If I were a Hokage, I would like to be just like him, but more badass. He says, grinning. Hey, I know he has some water scrolls. Let me have those. I would also like to get armor like his. I think it is really badass and it would totally look dope on me. Well, I do, but what can I get out of this deal if I hand it over? Well, I can give you the secret to beating paperwork. As soon as he said that, the old Hokage was on his knees begging him to tell him. Naruto-kun, please tell me, and I will give you anything. The man shakes Naruto violently. Okay, I would like all his scrolls and armor to be made just like his, but take the fur off the collar. Deal. The Hokage said quickly. Now tell me how to beat it. Okay, shadow clones. The blonde said to the wide-eyed Hokage. Without further notice, Hiruzen walks to the picture of the second and moves the picture and slides some blood onto the safe behind it. He then pulls out everything and seals it into a bigger scroll and hands it to Naruto, who is smiling. I'll have your armor ready as soon as possible. Now leave me, I have paper to finally defeat. Flashback over. Anko-sensei, what do you think the old man needs us for if he sent Kitty-chan after us? He asked his sensei, who giggled at what he called the Katambu. I don't know, but I was going to give us a C-rank mission today anyways, so let's see what he wants. That's great, let's go. He says, picking her up and flying to the Hokage office. Hokage office. They appear in a pillar of water in front of the Hokage, who has a serious face. Team 11 ready for action. Anko says, I have a mission for you guys. It is an A-ranked mission to help back up Team 7, who have requested backup in Wave. They ran into Zabuza and the Demon Brothers, but those two have been dealt with by the Genin team. But they say Zabuza has another ninja with him, and I want you guys to go and help him. He says in a serious tone. Yes, Lord Old Man. Yes, Hokage-sama. The old man can't help but shake his head at Naruto. Naruto-kun, your special order has been finished, and it is ready for battle. He said, smiling at the blonde, throwing a scroll with it inside. All right, I can test it out on this mission as well. He unseals the armor and can't help but grin at it. It blue battle armor similar to that of the second Hokage. Thank you, old man, we will leave right away, but first, Kitty-chan, can I get a good luck hug? He says, looking up at the ceiling only for a purple-haired Umbu to drop from it and walk up to him. I told you to stop calling me that. I am a grown woman, not some kitten. She says, walking into his open arms. Two had got close over the 2 months and would often have sword duels, and she was surprised at how good he was, and she recognized his style and instantly wanted to test it, but she could never beat him. "Ah, don't be like that kitten, you know you're going to miss me." He moved his hands to her ass and grabbed a handful. "Eep," was the sound she made, and if it were not for the mask, everyone would see how red-faced she was. She then pulled out her sword and tried to cut him, but he grabbed Anko and disappeared while everyone laughed at her. Gates of Konoha. "All right, Naruto-kun, you have everything," she said, checking her pack. "Yup, me and Kasumi-chan are ready to take on this mission," Naruto said in his blue armor with Kasumi around his shoulder, making a fur collar. "All right, let's go," she shouted and jumped off in the forest. A paw smacked the top of his head. "Let's go already, she is going to leave us behind." "Okay, geez, you're so bossy." He then follows after her, jumping next to her through the trees at Jonin speeds. Ch. 5. Naruto and Anko could be seen jumping through the trees on their way to backup Team 7, who have requested immediate backup. They had been making good pace to the location, which was the bridge builder's house, named Tazuna. "If we keep this pace, we can be at the house by the end of the day, Naruto-kun," Anko says to her student, who was slightly behind her along with the fox on his neck. "Okay, Anko-sensei, I just hope we don't run into any trouble," he says, looking around. As if Kami heard his wish, a single ninja jumps in the duo's way. "Way to go, Naruto-kun. You just had to open your mouth," Anko says, sending Naruto a slight glare, who rubs the back of his head. "Well, look what we have here. Two tree huggers a little too far away from home," said the missing ninja with a crossed-out headband with the leaf symbol. Aoi Rokusho, who has the legendary Raijin no Kin, made by the second Hokage, and a treasure of the leaf. "Anko, is that you? They let the snake whore out of her cage, haha." He laughs at the Anko, who is angry at his taunting, but not as angry as one Naruto Uzumaki. "Shut up, you traitor. What are you even doing here? Don't tell me you are working with Zabuza," she says while taking out a kunai. "Yes, he told me to cover his tracks just in case they called back up, and boy was he right, I just didn't think they would send a snack after us. Why don't you join me, and you can be just like your master, and maybe even please me, your master." He gives her a gaze filled with just lust in his eyes that makes her uneasy. His laughter is put to a halt when he is blasted with so much ki, he can barely breathe or stand. "I think I've heard enough come out of that mouth of yours. I think I will shut it forever," he says, pulling his moonlight sword out of his sheath. "It has been decided. You are going to be the first to die by my blade." As he says that, Aoi pulls the Raijin out to hopeful defend himself, but he is still shaking. "You can't beat me. I am invincible with the Raijin on my side," he shouts, charging at the blonde. "Die," Naruto says in a cold tone and swings his sword down, and Aoi is split in half, and a quarter-mile of forest is also destroyed in his attack, leaving Anko wide-eyed. Naruto walks to Anko and pulls her to him and gives her a kiss full of love and passion that makes her lower area heat up. "Nobody will touch you. You're mine," he says in her ear, making her shiver at how possessive he is over her. "Oh, okay, Naruto-kun," she says, still shaken up at what just happened. Naruto goes and picks up the Raijin no Kin that is laying next to a wide-eyed Aoi, who died with terror in his eyes. Naruto then throws up on his body at killing his enemy so brutally. "Why am I acting like this? He is not my first kill," he says with a shaken-up voice. "It's because when you killed Mizuki, you really didn't have time to focus on what you did, because there was so much going on you didn't even leave the ashes of that other guy," she says with a little laugh at the end. "So cheer up. This is something you're going to have to get used to," she says, giving a kiss to his cheek. "Yes, Naruto-kun, don't worry, we will be here to help you," the orange fox says on his shoulder, nuzzling his face, giving it a little lick. "Yeah, what that fox just said," only to freeze when she realized that fox just talked. "Naruto-kun, I know this fox just talked. Do you want to tell me about that?" she says, giving him a sweet smile to be good. "Oh, Anko-chan, did I not tell you this is Kasumi-chan the QB?" he says with a nervous laugh, only to block when she gets in his face, smile still there. "You mean to tell me that you have been doing training and walking around with the fox that attacked the village 13 years ago, just sitting on your shoulder?" "Yes." "Bonk. You idiot, why the hell didn't you tell me, and how do you know she can be trusted?" she says, yelling in his face. "Anko-chan, can you let me explain? The attack was not her fault. She was under a jinjutsu, so none of that was her fault. She is a really nice person, although she can be a little bossy at times." "Yes, he is right. I was not myself, for a lack of better terms, that night. I am sorry," the vixen says a little sadly. Wait, the QB is a woman. Hot take that, you sexist pigs. She says, pumping a fist in the air with a grin on her face. But don't worry about the whole attacking the village thing. If you were being controlled, then don't worry about it. It was not your fault. Thank you, Anko-chan. I will show you what I really look like when we get back to the bridge builder house. The fox says happy. Whoa, you have a human form? Asked Anko with stars in her eyes. Yes, she does, and let me be the first to say she is just beautiful. She took my breath away. This makes the fox hide in Naruto's armor from embarrassment. Okay, we wasted enough time taking that guy's head, and we can get his bounty and sword for a bunch of money. With that done, the trio jumps off back into the trees to get to the location before anything else happens that can stop them from making it to their location. Tazuna's house. Sasuke and Sakura can be seen outside standing over the makeshift grave they made for their teammate who died in the early run in the group had with Zabuza. Turns out he was not able to dodge the cleave sword Zabuza had thrown at the group. The death did not seem to affect Sasuke that much, but it was a different story for Sakura, who was crying at his death. Their sensei was recovering in a spare room in one of the rooms upstairs in the house. Come on, Sakura. We have to go. We cannot be out here forever. But Sasuke-kun, don't you feel sad about our teammate? She says with a few tears in his eyes. No, I don't. This is what happens when you are weak, so you better step it up, or you could end up just like him. He says, uncaring to her. Would you be sad if I died, Sasuke-kun? She said hopefully. No. He says, walking away, leaving the pink-haired girl to cry alone. She follows him silently back to the house so they can welcome the team that comes to back them up, because they both know they could use any kind of help on this mission because they already lost a fellow ninja, and Sakura was starting to take in all she has done since becoming a ninja. Maybe Sasuke-kun was correct, and I need to start training seriously now and then. Maybe Sasuke-kun will fall in love with me, and we can help rebuild his clan. A little blood drops from her nose at the things she is thinking the two will do while inner Sakura is shaking her head. Why don't you just leave that asshole alone and focus on Naruto-kun? Did you see how handsome he has gotten these past 2 months? I could just. She is cut off by Sakura, who screams and shakes her head to make her shut up. No, I don't see him like that, although I will admit he has gotten really handsome over these past 2 months. But you've seen how he has been holding hands with that purple-haired woman. He does not want to be with us anymore. Yes, you are right, but you can at least be friends with him, and maybe he can help us with our training so that way we can actually make something out of ourselves. Yes, I will be nicer to him and apologize for all the things I did, she says with a little smile. While Sasuke just eyes her weirdly from all the facial faces she was making, he just shakes it off and gets back to thinking of ways he can have Kakashi-sensei train him. 1 hour later. Finally, it feels like we have been running forever. I am so tired. The orange-tailed fox says, waving her front paws in exaggeration. What are you complaining about? You didn't even do anything. You were just on my shoulder the whole time. He says with a sweat drop on his head at her antics. But I still had to deal with you always jumping from tree to tree. Why did you do that instead of just fly us here? She gave him a questioning gaze. Well, it kind of slipped my mind. I didn't think of it, he said, rubbing the back of his head, only to be hit by both Anko and Kasumi. Naruto-kun, sometimes you can be as smart as a Nara, and then sometimes be dumber than a sack of rocks, said the snake mistress. Come on, Kasumi-chan, let's leave him here, Anko said, opening her arms for the fox to jump into. Wait, Kasumi-chan, how could you leave me out to dry like this? He says with waterfall tears coming out of his eyes. Get up, you, let's just regroup with these fools and get the mission over with, she says, dragging him with one of her tails. Knock knock, Anko says, hitting the door a couple times. Why do you say knock knock while hitting the door? Naruto said, sweat dropping at her childish antics. Because it's fun, came the short reply from Anko. Coming, a female voice said from the other side of the door, and feet could be heard shuffling to the door. The door cracked open slightly, and a woman with long black hair with a dark blue tint and black eyes could be seen peeking her head out. Hello, how may I help you? She says with a kind smile, trying to ease her nervousness from the 2 humans and 1 fox on top of the purple-haired lady's head. We are Team 11, and we are the backup for Team 7. My name is Anko Mitarashi, and this is my student Naruto Uzumaki. A smack from a paw on her head makes her remember the orange fox on her head. Oh yeah, this is Kasumi-chan, our team mascot. A bite to her ear lets her know she didn't like that comment. Tsunami can't help but sweat drop at the human and fox butting heads and snots with each other. Okay, thank you for coming to help assist us. It seems they already lost a teammate on the way over here, and it seems it has affected the pink-haired girl named Sakura very much. They all look at her with shock. Wow, I didn't think we would already start losing classmates so fast. He then clenches his fist and grabs Anko's hand. I'll never let anything happen to her on my watch. Anko, seeing this, can't help but smile and thank Kami in her head for a good boyfriend. Kasumi-chan. Naruto calls the vixen using their mind link. Yes, Naruto-kun, replied the vixen with a question tone. Is it okay if we practice how to use some of your chakra? He asked. This catches her off guard because he has never asked for her power since she has been sealed in him. Okay, Naruto-kun, but you really don't need my power. You are already able to beat every ninja in the village. You might only struggle with the old Hokage because of all the years of experience he has over you. Thank you, Kasumi-chan, you are the best, he says, giving her a smile that makes her blush and turn her head, making him chuckle. May we come in now to talk to the others? Said Anko, talking to Tsunami. Oh yes, I am sorry, please come in. I was just about to start dinner, she says, giving them a warm smile. Oh, you were about to cook. That is great. I was getting really hungry as well with all the running we did to get here, he says, rubbing his stomach, walking into the house. Well, great, but before that, can one of you accompany me to the market? I would like some help. Don't worry about Tsunami-san. It would be my pleasure to accompany such a lovely lady to the market. This makes the mother smile while Anko sends him a wink. Oh, thank you for the compliment. The mother turns red-faced at what the handsome blonde said to her. What are you doing here, dead last? We don't need help from you, said one duck, but Avenger. Naruto rolls his eyes at the pitiful Uchiha. Clearly you don't remember what I said last time someone called me. And without much more being said, Naruto kicks him in the face, leaving an imprint of his foot on his face. Naruto baka. But she stops when she remembered what she had said earlier and just walks up to him and gives him a weak punch in his blue armor that barely does anything. Ouch, he says, confused. We can talk later. I want to ask you something, she says, looking at him sadly. Okay, just wake up your stupid sensei and tell him we made it while I go with the lovely mother over here. Tsunami blushes again and tries to hide her face with her hands. Father, I am leaving for the market with one of the ninjas. Okay, be safe and get some for alcohol. A voice sounded from the backyard. Bye, Mom, be safe. A little boy with a bucket hat on his head says, giving her a small smile. He then looks at Naruto and snorts and runs away. Sorry about my son. He's just having a tough time right now, she says, giving Naruto a sad smile. Don't sweat it, Tsunami. Let's just go get what you need, and then we can eat some food. Bye, Naruto-kun, be safe, waved Anko and the fox together. Streets wave. Wow, how long has this been going on now? Naruto asked Tsunami, looking around at all the people on the street in the worst condition possible. It reminded him of how his younger life used to be growing up. It's been like this for a little over 2 years now, and it's only getting worse thanks to that damn Gato. A little angry at how her country was suffering thanks to some idiot. A tap against Naruto's back pocket, and he can see what looks like a little girl running away with his wallet into an alley. Tsunami, someone just stole my wallet. I'll leave a clone with you to make sure you are all right. I will be back. Oh, okay, Naruto, just don't hurt the children. He then runs off after her into the alley, only to stop at what he sees. The black-haired girl is giving his money away to kids around her age and telling to go buy some food. She then ran further down and tossed his wallet in the trash and went into what looks like a box under some rubble. He walks over to her to get a better view of the girl. A short and petite girl with light skin and purple eyes. Her hair is black, with several strands that reach to the bottom of her neck and one bang that goes down the middle of her face to her chin. She hears him and looks up at him with surprise, only to shake it off and get in a makeshift fighting style. Naruto can't help but smile at her and think to himself, oh yes, she has got a spark in her. But it also makes him a little sad at the fact that a girl only 9 has to fight, which means this is not the first time someone has found her. Hello there, you remember me? You just robbed me and gave all my money away, he says, getting on one knee, getting eye to eye with the little girl. Yes, I do, and it was for a good cause, she replied without even being feared. Naruto smiles even more at her attitude. Man, I said the same thing when I stole that food and gave it to Panda-chan at the orphanage. I hope she is doing well. He chuckles at her and then sits down, much to her confusion. I am not going to do anything to you. Okay, I did the same thing when I was your age. he says, giving her a sad smile, making her lower her defense a little bit. What are you talking about? I am 9, so are you telling me you also used to live on the streets? She says, eyeing him. Yup. But you have on a leaf headband. You must have had a good life in your nice, comfortable village that is said to be the strongest. She gives him a glare. He shakes his head at her. That's just what they say when people visit and only go to the rich part of the village, and they talk about how the will of fire and mighty heroes fought to make the village what it is now. Truth is that fire is slowly dying down and being corrupted, but that's why I am here to make the village what it used to be when everyone was happy and no one suffered. Why are you telling me this? She asked, sitting down in front of him. Because I was once like you. I too had to fight for my life and started stealing and giving what I had to those who needed it, all while getting nothing in return but empty promises. She looks down at his words because it is true. But I don't do it just to get a thank you. These people need this, and I am just simply helping them. He smiles at her. What is your name, little girl? He asked, giving her a warm smile that made her feel comforted. Rukia, she says with pride, sticking her chest out a little bit, making Naruto laugh at her, causing Rukia to pout only to be replaced with a chuckle until she starts to laugh with him. If someone were to see this scene, it would look like a father and daughter having a nice time. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. He grins at her, and she does the same. Well, Rukia-chan, would you come with me and let me help you for a change? Give her a fatherly smile that makes her feel comfortable again. Why, yes. She hesitantly takes his hand, hesitantly, not wanting this to be a trick, only to be surprised when he pulls onto his neck and he holds her legs while she has her hand in his hair. What do you think you're doing? She says from the top of his head. I am going to take you shopping, Rukia-chan. We can't have you in those rags forever now, can we? This makes the black-haired girl surprised at this. But I thought I gave all your money away. She is a little sad at the last part. How I have extra money in a seal I keep on my thumb. He unseals the money much to her shock. Naruto, what are seals and how did you do that? Seals are an art that ninjas use to do battle, or in my case, seal things away. You can do a whole bunch of things with seals. Wow, are you any good at using seals? She asked in a questioning tone. Am I any good? I'll have you know I am a seal master of the highest caliber. Cool, do you think you can teach me seals? She says a little shyly. Naruto looks up at her and then grins. Of course I can teach you seals. Do you have good handwriting? This makes her look down. No, I do not know how to write. I can only read. Don't worry, I'll teach you everything. He gives a warm smile. Now what kind of clothes would you like to wear, Rukia-chan? I would like a kimono. I've always wanted one of those. Well then, let's go get you one. He then starts to walk the streets of Wave looking for any stores that would have what he is looking for to get Rukia, while also giving away some of his foods to the people of Wave who need it. They eventually find a store, and they go in to see the poor state the store is in. Okay, Rukia-chan, go find something you want, and I'll tell you what looks good. She nods, and then runs off looking at the clothes. The storekeeper, a middle-aged man, whispers to Naruto. You know, sir, I think it's really nice what you are doing for that young girl. She is always stealing from Gato's men and giving people of Wave the food and money and barely taking enough for herself. When she isn't lucky, they would beat her up, but she would always try to fight back. But as a little girl, she wasn't able to do much. The man says a little sadly. Naruto clenches his fist at what the man is telling him. I'll be damned if I let one of those bastards lay a finger on her. He thinks to himself, making his eyes change from ocean blue to blood red for a second. Hey Naruto, what do you think of this one? Does it look good on me? She is wearing a purple kimono with white snowflakes on it. A navy blue obi that wraps around her waist along with white slip-on sandals. It looks beautiful, you little snow princess. Naruto says to her, making her give him a bright smile that makes his eyes a little watery, but he shakes it off before anyone notices. He then walks to the cashier and gives him a little extra, which makes the man bow his head and thank him. Okay, Rukia-chan, let's get you something to eat. He then picks her up and puts her on his shoulder again. What are we going to eat, Naruto? Well, I am staying here for a mission, and this nice lady named Tsunami will be making food for us. A mission? She asks him. Yup, the leader of my village gave my team a mission to come out here, and I will go back home when it's done. He says, not noticing her small frown at his last statement. Hey, you want to help me catch some more food for Tsunami? I can show you a cool trick. Yeah, I do, she says, giving a smile again, only to be surprised when Naruto jumps on top of the roof and starts to jump from roof to roof. And in Naruto, this is really bumpy. She gets out flying up and down on Naruto's shoulder. Okay, how about I fly then? He gives a foxy smile. You can't fly. That's impossible. Only to be shocked when Naruto takes off in the air, making her scream. Tazuna's house. Hello everyone, I am back, said Tsunami, letting everyone know she is back. Finally, will you get started on dinner? Now I'm hungry. The old drunk says, coming stumbling out of the kitchen. Hey, where is Naruto? Asked the copycat ninja Kakashi. Oh, someone stole his wallet and he went after her, leaving a clone with me that just poofed in smoke. Well, I hope he hurries up. It's getting dark outside. Anko says worriedly. Mama, now I'm sure your little boyfriend can take care of himself. He is a big boy. Kakashi says, trying to tease Anko, only to have to dodge a snake that came flying at him. Everyone stopped when they could hear screaming and laughter coming from outside, and they all went outside, even the emo Inari. Only for the family and Team 7 to drop their jaws at what they are seeing. It's Naruto flying, doing tricks and laughing at the girl on his back. He then flies down to the ground so they can go inside. And Naruto, why would you do that if you were flying too fast? She then falls face first, only to get up and chase the laughing blonde around, trying to punch his lights out. Naruto-kun. The shout of a running Anko and Fox coming snapped them out of their fun. Hello Anko-chan, Kasumi-chan everyone, okay. He says, getting a kiss from Anko and a lick from the fox. Yushi just put her lips on your Naruto. She says, making a yuck face at what they were doing. It's called a kiss. You do it to people you love. He says to her with a grin. Everyone else is just watching them in confusion. You guys did see him flying around, right? A Pinkett said. Everyone nods at that. Sasuke and Inari walk off to be emo to the sadness of the two girls. Later we can find everyone at the dinner table finishing the dinner of cooked fish and rice thanks to all the fish Naruto caught. Naruto was sitting at the end of the table with Rukia in his lap and Kasumi on his head again. Anko to his left looking at him, and Rukia with a blush think about how a good father Naruto would is at the other end of the table looking at Naruto with a small smile, with Inari next to him, who has a scowl. Tsunami across from him, who has a look in her eyes at seeing her son. Team 7 is on the other side of the table. Okay guys, I have some important things to say about our mission, Kakashi says, closing his book looking at everyone. Zabuza is still alive. He did not die like we thought he did, and that hunter ninja is helping him, and he most likely taking a week to recover like me. Tazuna's family gasps along with Team 7. Well, good thing you guys called us, or you would be in real trouble. Naruto says smirking, making Sasuke angry. We don't need you dead last. Sasuke covers his mouth quickly. He then sees Naruto grinning evilly. Don't worry dude, I can't get you right now. Sasuke sighs until he looks to the left only to be kicked in the face by a shadow clone of Naruto, which makes him and the fox start to laugh, while everyone else holds in their laughter a little bit. Sasuke-kun, are you okay? Sakura says, going over to him to help him only to be pushed away. I don't need your help, weakling. He walks upstairs. I am going to bed. Well, I think we all should go to bed as well. Naruto says, picking up Rukia. Tsunami-chan, the dinner was great. Is there a place where we can sleep? She blushes at what he said. Why yes, and thank you. Allow me to show you where it is. He follows her along with Anko and the fox, which Kakashi eyes with a suspicious gaze, wondering if it is what he thinks it is. Naruto places Rukia in the futon and walks away only to stop when she gets up and hugs him saying thank you. Naruto returns her hug with a smile. Naruto then walks out the room only to see Anko smiling at him, who gives him a smirk. You are like a father to that girl, and I think she likes it. You do know that we are going to have to leave this place, right? She tells him. He sighs at this. Yes, I do know, and I think I will ask to adopt her and come back with us to the Leaf. But they don't know Rukia is listening to this and is crying tears of happiness and can't believe this. She then runs out and jumps on Naruto and laughs. Yes, I would love to be your daughter, Papa. She says, still crying, which makes Naruto also cry with happiness. Okay, my daughter. Anko and Kasumi watch this with smiles on their faces. Ch. 6. It is early in the morning at the house of Tazuna, and we can see all the applicants of the house begging to wake up, while some are still trying to get in extra hours of sleep. Kakashi is already up and getting some early morning reads in before anyone can interrupt him. Sakura is still asleep mumbling about nonsense. Sasuke is up doing morning workouts thinking of his brother. Inari can be seen walking the halls to his mother's room. Tsunami is just waking up to make breakfast for everyone. Tazuna is on the floor passed out from too much drinking. Anko is sprawled out in her futon with one leg out and a plushie of Naruto close to her. Naruto is in the futon with one Rukia attached to his right arm with blinking eyes seeing where she is. Wow, that was the best sleep I have ever had in my life, she says looking around with sleepy eyes until she remembers what happened last night. So it wasn't a dream, I really have a D-dad. She then tries to shake Naruto awake, but he doesn't budge. An evil smile appears on her face. So you don't want to wake up, Papa? Well, I know how to wake you up. She then gets up silently and stands over Naruto, evil grin still in place. She then jumps up as high as she can and comes down screaming. Wake up! She comes down with an elbow drop to his stomach. This causes Naruto to shoot up with wide eyes, and he can hear a laughing Kasumi in his head. Rukia-chan, what W was that for? He was able to get out through labored breath. Rukia could only stand there with a smirk in place at what she did to her dad. That thought makes her smile. Good morning, Daddy. I just needed you to wake up so you can teach me how to write like you said you would. This causes Naruto to smile at her and pulls her into a hug. Good morning to you as well, baby. He then kisses her on the top of her head. He then puts her in a headlock and gives her a nuggie. This is the scene one Anko walks in on and can't help but smile at them. Well, you two seem to be having fun, Anko says with a grin leaning against the door. Well, when you two are done, I would like to let you know that everyone else is up and Kakashi wants to talk about training. Okay, Anko-chan, we will be down when we get dressed, he says, getting up only for Anko to turn around with a red face at what she saw. Oh my god, he's so big it was sticking out of his boxers. Maybe I should check again to be sure I saw what I saw was real. Only to sigh sadly because he put on orange jogging pants and a black long sleeve. Okay, Rukia-chan, I'll teach you how to write, and a little about seals while we wait for dinner. They then walk out, but not before giving Anko a peck on the lips. They made their way downstairs saying good morning to everyone, getting replies, even from Sakura. Naruto sits at the table and Rukia in his lap, jumping with excitement at learning how to write. Okay, Papa, I am ready. What do we do first? She says looking at him with a smile. This is a scroll I use to write seals in, and I want you to practice writing your name. Let me show you how it is done first. He then writes her name on the scroll. Now you go. She then takes the brush and starts to concentrate so hard, she even sticks her tongue out to the side of her mouth, much to the amusement of everyone else. They then spend 45 minutes teaching her how to write, and she is able to write her name fast while making all the letters in the alphabet. Okay, teams, I have some training I want us to do, he says with his eye smile to everyone in the room. My team, we will be doing something that can increase the efficiency of your jutsu. This got Sasuke up and ready to go immediately, while Sakura also had a fire in her eyes, much to the happiness of Kakashi. He looks at Anko and Naruto, still helping Rukia. Anko does Naruto already know the basic exercise. This causes her to grin at him. Kakashi, he can fly. I think that's all you need to hear. Naruto-kun, I want you to do some training as well. Work on some more water manipulation. You mentioned you couldn't make waves in a still lake yet. Well, now is your chance, she says to him, making him understand. Okay, Rukia-chan, how about we unlock your chakra and teach you how to walk on trees while you see how awesome your dad is, he says, giving her a foxy smile. Really, we can unlock my chakra, that will be so cool. She then jumps up and gives him hugs and kisses all over his face, making everyone laugh except Sasuke and Inari, who have scowls. Why are you even trying? You're just going to die anyway. There is no hope for us, he says, running off with tears in his eyes. But before he can get away, Naruto hits him in the head with a water bullet that makes him fall. Watch your mouth, Brett, you haven't even seen what I'm fully capable of, he says, giving him a smirk to help cheer him up, only for it not to work, and Inari still ran off. Then Rukia hits him in the head. Papa, that was not nice. You hit that boy in the head, and he was already about to cry, causing him to sulk his head and everyone else to laugh at him. Outside. Okay, Rukia-chan, just focus on the inside of your body, and you should feel it inside of your body, and when you feel it, I want you to grab it, and then pull it until it explodes out of your body, he explains to her. Okay, Daddy, I will give it my all. She then begins to concentrate, sticking her tongue out again, making him think how cute she looks, only for him to look at his leg and see Kasumi between his legs in her fox form. What is it, Kasumi-chan, want to see my daughter kick ass? He asked, smirking at her. Yes, I also want to tell you about your mother, she says to the wide-eyed Naruto. She was my previous container and best friend, but when she was giving birth to you, she was kidnapped by some masked man, and I already told you about that masked guy, she says, looking at Rukia, who is now sweating from what's happening. Did she love me? He asked her, feeling a little worried about something he always wanted to know. This makes Kasumi smile at him. Love isn't even the right word. She was overjoyed to be a mother. She was up all night talking to me about all the things she was going to teach you. Most of the time I wouldn't listen because she would just go on, she says, laughing at the end. Naruto sheds a little tears at what he is hearing about his mother and that she loved him. What was her name? He asked, a little more control of himself. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, part of the Uzumaki clan, which makes you the heir to her clan, she says, smirking. I knew I was from some kind of clan. The things I had just made it impossible for me to be some average child, especially if I was able to hold the queen of the Biju, he says at the end, giving Kasumi a smirk, making her stick her fox chest out. They are snapped back to Rukia when she releases chakra as much as a high chunin would have, making the two go wide at her. Dad, I did it, my chakra is unlocked. I can feel it all over my body. I feel like I can do anything. Running around and throwing punches and kicks in the air. Kasumi-chan, is it me, or does her chakra feel kind of cold to you? He said to her how cold the air got because of her chakra. Yes, Naruto-kun, I can feel she is a Yuki and has the power of ice. Okay, Rukia-chan, that is good. Now, I need you to focus your chakra in your feet and walk up the tree like this. He then shows her how it is done. Okay, I have my own training to do, so I'll leave some clones with you, and if you need me, just tell a clone and tell me. He say, making 100 clones to go train with him. Okay, Dad, when I am done, I'll be up the tree with no hands. Giving him a nice guy pose, making an echo of youth sound in the distance. Later that day, we can find Naruto in what seems to be an ocean that used to be a lake. There are massive waves and laughter can be heard along with the chance of someone saying they finally did it. A massive wave 20 feet tall is about to crash down, and we can see our blonde hero surfing the wave with a shit-eating grin on his face along with his laughter. Haha, and they called me a madman. They were right, this is so fun, I should take the gang to do this surfing thing I just came up with. He then jumps off the top of the wave and crashes in the water. Okay, now I just need to finish the final step of water manipulation, which is making the flow of a waterfall reverse, and I'll be a master. I think I can go back now, it is getting pretty late. He says, looking at the setting sun. I wonder what Tsunami-chan is making for dinner. Some good food is what I need right now. He then flies off to the house of Tazuna with a smirk at giving a nice show to the spy. A girl about his age with long black hair and soft brown eyes, which are currently wide as saucers at what she just saw. I have to tell Zabuza-sama what I just saw. If he is their backup, we will most likely not win. She then runs off to do just as she had said. Tazuna's house. Damn girl, can you get off the ceiling? Already you're leaving footprints all on my ceiling. A slightly drunk Tazuna, shaking his fist at the girl who is sitting on the ceiling smiling. Why don't you make me, you old drunk, she says, giving him the middle finger that she learned from Anko, who is over at the table laughing with Tsunami, who has a hand over her mouth trying to stop herself from laughing, while Sakura is holding her stomach laughing. Tazuna goes red with anger and walks away mumbling about bad children. Hello everyone. The handsome and badass ninja has come back from his training. Naruto says in a soaked black t-shirt and white jogging pants with his ninja sandals. The wet shirt is hugging his muscles, making all the girls stare, even Sakura. Daddy, you're finally back, said a giggling Rukia who dropped from the ceiling, landing on top of his head with a smile still on her face. Hey, I see you got the tree walking exercise down, that's really great, he says, rubbing her head much to her excitement. I also learned something else. She then shows him her middle finger. Anko-chan showed me how to do this. Naruto then slowly turns his head to Anko, who is sweating nervously at the look Naruto is giving her. Anko-chan, why are you teaching my daughter such bad habits? Well, she asked me to learn some hand signs, and I thought I should teach her that for perverts, she says, trying to defend herself from the wrath of her father. Not a good enough answer. I think I will give you 50 spankings tonight as your punishment, he says, grinning at Anko, who blushes and is scared at the same time. And now there is no need for any of that in Naruto-kun, she says, hoping to stop him from doing that to her. No, I will, but now let's eat. I'm sure Tsunami-chan has made us some good food, he says, quickly sitting at the table with Rukia in his lap. Oh, Naruto-kun, you are too kind, Tsunami says, red-faced. Everyone sits down and starts eating, laughing, and everyone talking about how their day went and what else they have planned. So while I was out training, I made a whole ocean and invented this new thing called surfing, and it is really fun. It can get the blood pumping and helps with control, he says, laughing at the shock of everyone. Naruto-kun, can you show me please? I want to surf, Anko says, giving him the puppy dog eyes, only to be disappointed when he turned his head just in time. Papa, you will take me, right? Rukia says, giving him the puppy eyes. How could I say no to my little snow princess? Naruto says, rubbing his face against hers, making her giggle, only to be stopped when a hand is slammed on the table. What is wrong with you people? Why are you just sitting here laughing and talking about all this training like it will ever amount to anything? You're all just gonna die, so you should just give up. He says, yelling at everyone. Oh, come on, kid, I'll take you surfing as well if that is why you are so mad. He says, laughing at him. Shut up, you are sitting here laughing and playing around. You don't know anything about this country or what it's like to suffer. You live in your comfortable village without a care in the world. You don't know how hard we have it. He screams, glaring down at Naruto, who had stopped laughing and now had his head down and eyes shadowed by his hair. His one smiling face had been replaced with a deep scowl on his face, one of the likes anyone has never seen beside Anko and Kasumi. Don't know how hard we have it. Don't know what it is like to suffer. As he is talking, the winds pick up, thunder starts to sound off, the waves outside start to clash violently. You really don't know how good you have it, do you? You foolish child. You have a mother at home who gets up and cleans up after you and your grandfather. A mother who worries about you. A mother who helps you when you are hurt. A grandfather who is putting his life on the line just so people like you who are too scared to do any work can live happily. He says all of this while the storm picks up and his hair changes white for a second, while the occupants of the room worry for their safety. When I was your age, I was on the streets fighting for my life, just to find a place to sleep and put food in my stomach. Fighting the people I am sworn to protect. But did I complain? No, I didn't. I kept getting back on my feet. He says with all in an electrified tone, scaring everyone, and even Rukia a little bit, who is looking at her dad in horror. For a reason I had no idea about until 2 months ago, from a traitor who tried to kill me and someone I hold close to me. When was the last time you went into that town, boy? There are kids your age and younger who are on the streets, starving, struggling, just to make it past this week. He then gets up and sets the wide-eyed Rukia in Anko's arm, who is giving him a sad smile with a couple tears in the corner of her eyes. He then kisses them both. Daddy will be back later. I have to clear my head. He walks outside and a lightning bolt strikes him, and then he's gone, leaving everyone speechless. Kakashi-sensei, did all that really happen to him? Sakura asked in a shaky tone, not wanting to believe what she was hearing. No, Sakura, it was much worse. Naruto was often in the hospital when the villagers would gang up on him, and he would have to fight back, he says, shocking everyone. This makes Rukia clench her fist, and she makes a vow to protect her dad. You know, when Naruto found me, I stole all his money and gave it away. Rukia speaks up with tears going down her face. I was living in a box and barely had food and clothes to eat, but I never let it stop me, because that's what cowards do, and Rukia Uzumaki is no coward. She says, running upstairs to the room she shares with her dad. Most smile at what the young girl says, while Tsunami, Inari, and Sakura are still shedding tears. Why didn't anyone help him? And I was so mean to him. I just feel so terrible. Sakura cries more when remembering how she treated him. That loser was just joking. He was always pulling pranks and running around with that stupid smile on his face. Sasuke says, only to be shocked when he is slapped by an angry Anko. He is sending him massive ki, making him shake like a leaf. Kakashi grabs her to calm her down, only to be pushed off. I am going to Rukia-chan. Kami knows she needs someone to help her with her daddy problems. Anko says, walking upstairs, leaving everyone to do whatever they want. I think it's best if we all go to sleep. We have some more training to do tomorrow. Kakashi speaks up, clapping his hands, and everyone goes to their rooms. Next morning. It was the morning after Naruto had his little outburst at Inari. He just had to get away. He didn't mean to yell at the kid like that. He had to get away from his daughter, who was scared of him. Will she leave me now that she has seen me like that? Will she think I'm a monster? He asked in a scared tone. The once forest Naruto was in now looks like a storm came through, but with Naruto, I guess that is not far from the truth in his case. The once tall trees were all destroyed and laying on the ground, with some looking like they were hit by lightning. Naruto's clothes had scratch marks all on his clothes, cuts, and dirt on his face. This was the scene Haku Yuki came and was looking for some herbs for her master. That's the boy I saw yesterday. What is he doing out in the forest? This is my chance to get rid of him, because Zabuza-sama didn't believe me. She thinks a little irritated at her master. Hovering a hand over to him, she is surprised when something unexpected happens to her. Eep! A girlish sound comes from her lips when Naruto pulls her down and puts her against him. Her face is as red as a tomato. Something like this has never happened to her. She can hear him mumbling about how she was some plushie-chan. Excuse me, Mr. Can YUP please let me go? She says, red face when getting a feel of his body. What? Why would I let such a beautiful girl out of my arms, a smirk playing on his lips? But I am a boy, trying to lie to make her way out of this position. Yeah, that might work on some bandits, but it will not work on me. So tell me, did you come back to try and spy on me again? He says, giving her a foxy smirk. This causes her to go wide-eyed before making ice senbon and jamming them in his chest, and jumping back, getting in a position with more senbon in her hand. How that hurt. Pulling the senbon out of his hand, he then floats up. You know you should give your name before stabbing someone, unbothered by the fact that he had just pulled senbon out of his chest. My name is Haku. She is a little surprised at how he just pulled those out of his chest. Well, Haku-chan, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, but you can call me Naruto-kun. Giving her a charming smile makes her blush a bit. On a serious note, you are a Yuki clan member who can use ice release. Haku just nodded, a little shocked at how he knew that, because not many people were aware of that. Yes, I am, and I am the last of my clan. She then goes to tell him about how her clan was killed by the civil war in Kiri, and how her own dad tried to kill her and her mother, but she got away. Naruto can sympathize with her and feels a sort of kinship with her. He then goes to tell her about his life and how they are kind of similar. They then spend another hour just talking and telling each other's funny story until Naruto drops a bomb on her. Haku-chan, I believe you are not the last member of your clan. My daughter, I believe, has the ice release. She is next to him in an instant with hope in her eyes at maybe finding some family. Do you really mean it, Naruto-kun? How can you be sure? Well, when she unlocked her chakra, the area got a little colder, and her chakra also feels a little similar to yours because they both have that cold feeling to it. Haku shed a couple tears because the same thing happened to her. I don't believe this. I always thought I was the only one left, but she is a part of my clan. After this little mission is over, can I meet her? Haku asked, giving Naruto the puppy dog eyes with tears and a quivering lip almost as good as his daughter. Okay, but you just have to try not to die, and tell Zabuza to hurry up because I want to test his blade against one of the 7 and see how good I am with my blade. Okay, Naruto-kun. Just be careful when you fight him, he is really strong. Naruto smirked at her, which unnerved her a bit. Oh, Haku-chan, I thank you for worrying about me so much. Maybe I should give you a reward. He trails a finger up her side and trails a hand to her chest, but Haku backs up red-faced and panting. And Naruto-kun, we should not do that. I have to go. She then runs off with the basket of herbs, and a chuckle can be heard from Naruto. Well, let's get up and get going before they send a watch party after me. Taking off in a bolt of lighting, he makes his way to town for a gift to apologize to Anko and Rukia. Tazuna's house. I swear when he gets back here, I am going to feed him to my snakes. Anko could be seen pacing back. Not to mention, I didn't get my spankings. Rukia could be seen pacing with Anko as well. When Papa gets back here, he is going to get introduced to my fist, she says, bumping her fist together. Hello guys, I am back. Did you miss me? Only to have to dodge snakes and punches from his daughter. Hey, what is going on here? Dodging an attack, he grabs both of them in a hug, and they start to sniffle a little bit, and he hugs them tighter. Look, I got you guys some gifts to make it up to you. Pulling out the gifts, they are both shocked at what they see. For Rukia, it is a bunny onesie suit, and for Anko, it is a black trench coat with purple flames at the bottom. They both jump and give him kisses on the cheek. They both say thank you to him, but are interrupted when Sakura comes over to Naruto a little nervously. Naruto, can we go talk somewhere, please? She asked hesitantly. Sure, we can, bubblegum. He rubs her hair, messing it up, making a tick mark appear on his head. They walk upstairs, but not before giving Rukia a kiss on the head and Anko a kiss on the lips and a slap to the ass. The two go into Sakura's room, and Naruto can't help but try to tease her about it. Wow, Sakura-chan, if you wanted to get me in your room by yourself, all you had to do was ask, he says in a sexy tone, causing her to turn the color of her hair and inner Sakura to pass out with a nosebleed at all the things she just pictured. And no, I just wanted to say get some things off my chest, you know, she says, waving her hands and face still red. Well, there is not much to get off your chest, so we won't have a problem. Causing a tick mark to appear on her head. Naruto Baka, can you just listen to me? She yells, trying not to hit him. He laughs at her and then just smiles and motions her to go on ahead. I just want to say that I am sorry for having treated you the way I did and always being mean to you and hitting you for no reason. My eyes have been opened to the world a little bit at how the ninja world and how people are now. I realize Sasuke-kun, no, Sasuke isn't the person I thought he was. I want to be a better ninja and person, and I want to know if you can help me with that, she says to Naruto with a straight face. Naruto can only stand there with a stoic face and unmoving posture, unnerving her a little. He then smiles at her, and she gives him a little smile back. Don't worry, Sakura, I forgive you, but I can't feel the same way about you the way I used to. But it is obvious you don't have a strong male in your life, so I will be that for you. You can now call me Big Brother or Oni-chan. For Sakura's part, she can't help but let out how this has gone. Okay, big bro, and will you help me with training? Naruto wraps her in a bear hug, picking her up. Of course I will. When I am done with you, Tsunade Senju will be nothing compared to you. She hugs him back, feeling relieved and happy at how this planned out. Naruto then moves his hands down to her, but giving a squeeze, making her go red in the face. Wow, Sakura, no wonder your chest is flat. Everything is going down to your ass. Sakura is red with anger and embarrassment at this. Get your hands off me, pervy big brother. She hits him in the head and huffs and walks off. Damn, she hits as hard as ever. This is going to be a fun week. I'll run her in the ground for all those hits. He gives an evil chuckle that goes through all of the house, making everyone shudder, even Kasumi, who is in the seal watching all this. Ch. 7. Wave Country. A week has passed in Wave Country, and all the citizens were noticing small changes around the town, such as the lack of Gato's men, and the food markets would have a bunch of fish outside of their stores with notes attached. Waves make way for storms, and a storm is coming. The note read, and many of the citizens began to hope again, only if just a little. The kids were no longer on the streets. There was a huge house for the kids to live in, and some adults to help take care of them. Food, clothes, and furniture was in the house. All thanks to Naruto making a bunch of clones that went back to the village, which was only a 3-hour trip with him flying at his full speed. That didn't mean he still didn't train. He often had clones go to the bridge to help Tazuna, who was having a hard time with the lack of workers. He trained his wind element some more, because out of his 3 elements it was his weakest, and he wanted to fix that because he had some wind jutsu he wanted to use, like wind dragons and wind tornadoes and so on. Sakura also kept to her word and started taking her training more seriously, and even tried to calm down on her fangirl tendencies towards Sasuke, who didn't seem to notice. Naruto often made her work out with him, which left her unconscious by the end of the day, and she would wake up and yell at her Oni-san for making her run 50 laps and do 100 push-ups and sit up with resistance seals. That is another thing he worked on, was seals. He was now able to make his own resistance seals, something he was excited to try because he saw it made your overall body stronger by buffing your speed, reaction, and durability. He applied them to Anko, Kakashi, and Sakura. He didn't. He want to tell Sasuke. He set Anko, Kakashi, and himself to level 3, which felt like they were moving through sand, and it was even hard to fly at first, but he was just glad he didn't apply the gravity seals yet. He was saving that for when he got back to the village. Rukia Aslo did training with them, doing all the physical training and chakra control, and much to the dismay of Sakura, even Rukia could outlast her in stamina, but it only made her work harder, which made Naruto happy at his new little sister's determination. Rukia also showed great skill in swordsmanship, and Naruto promised to get her a real sword when they go back to the village, but for now, she used a wooden sword. It was not just all training. He often played with Rukia and Anko, getting to learn more about them, such as Rukia's birthday was January 14th, and she had an older sister who was killed by Gato because she did not want to work for him. This only made Naruto want to rip his heart out even more. He learned her favorite was animals, and she wanted a pet rabbit to name Chappie. He learned Anko had a soft spot for rabbits, often leading to Anko squeezing Rukia's head in between her breast when she would wear her bunny onesie. Naruto got her, much to her embarrassment. Naruto and Rukia could be seen spread out on the futon with the sheets all over the place. Rukia had a leg over Naruto's face, which had a bunny head at the end of it. Naruto had one of his legs across her back. Both of them were snoring, often waking up Anko, who was next to them. Tsunami walked in the room, and only sweat dropped at what looked like the two were fighting in their sleep. She went to wake up Rukia, but she was kicked by her other leg, pushing her back some. Ninjas are so weird. She thinks walking to Naruto to wake him up, only to be surprised again. Eep. She let out a gasp because Naruto pulled her down and was now spooning her, making her go red in the face. Oh my Kami, what is he doing, pulling me down like this? I hope no one sees this. She tries to wiggle out of his grasp, but only makes it worse by rubbing her, but on Naruto's crotch, making him moan in his sleep. Naruto-kun, could you please wake up? Your team has left, she says, being able to turn around in his arms. Getting to look at his face, so close to hers, she can't help but to blush even more at how handsome she looks. Moving her face closer to his, She moves back when he starts to wake up. Tsunami-chan, what are you doing here? Blinking a couple of times, he can see Rukia sleeping on her stomach in a T position. Turning back to Tsunami, he grins at seeing her blush and the position the two are in. Tsunami-chan, if you wanted to get in bed with me, all you had to do was ask, he says, pulling her closer to him, making his harding crotch brush her wedding folds, making her go red and breath a bit heavily. Naruto-kun, we should not do this right now. Why your team said to meet them at the bridge. She got through labored breaths because Naruto started laying kisses on her face and neck. Okay, Tsunami-chan, I'll go, but when I get back, this ass is mine, he says, giving it a smack, making her pass out due to nosebleed. Rukia-chan, wake up, daddy has to go. I want you to stay here and protect the house for me while I go to the bridge. Giving a kiss to her forehead, he leaves a blinking Rukia and a still passed out Tsunami in the room. He sees Inari, who has warmed up to him after he apologized for how he acted and what he said. Good morning, Inari. I have to go. Make sure you stay the man of the house for me while I'm gone. He rubs his hair and tosses him a kunai. Use that on anyone who threatens what you hold dear. Oh, okay, Naruto, you can count on me, Inari replied with determination. Naruto then walks out the front door and makes 10 sealless shadow clones to watch the house, just in case. He then jumps in the trees going to the bridge. Bridge. Damn, I knew I should have woken Naruto up, that emo duck, but is getting beat up, and not to mention Zabuza called for backup, and it just had to be Raiga Kurosukiya, who keeps talking about funerals. He train of thought is cut off when she had to dodge a blade swing from Zabuza and water dragon from Raiga. Damn, I am glad we took those seals off, or this would be even worse for us, Anko said, jumping back to back with Kakashi. Yes, you are right, and our new speed isn't helping us much because we don't have a wind jutsu strong enough to blast away this mist. What's wrong, Kakashi? Sharingan not helping you see through the mist. A chuckling Zabuza could be heard through the mist. Yes, your funeral will be amazing, the insane Raiga said, laughing. Raiga, someone is coming, and they are really strong. The sound came from the back of Raiga as what looked like a boy under a blanket. Ranmaru, who is it, and how strong are they? Raiga, what is that brat saying? Is the student for Anko coming? Zabuza said, appearing next to him. Yes, it seems so, and Ranmaru says he is strong. Zabuza scoffed. This little brat isn't that strong. He is probably just as strong as that Uchiha. While on the inside, he is not having the same conversation. This must be the brat Haku was so worried about, who could fly and make 20 feet waves. If so, we are in trouble. Meanwhile, Naruto could be seen speeding through the trees, and sparks could be seen jumping off his body. Tazuna's house. Tsunami could be seen waking up with a red face, remembering what had happened before she passed out. Naruto-kun was so dominant over me. Is he really going to have sex with me when he gets back? She shakes her head, but a part of her hopes he does, because she would be lying if she said she didn't want him to take her to her room and just have his way with her. No, don't think like that. We have better things to do other than to think about how Naruto-kun will stick his no-stop at Tsunami. She walks off to check on the kids to see what they were doing. They were playing cards, and it looked like Rukia was winning if the smirk on her face was anything to go by. The two had become close friends over the week, once Inari had stopped acting like an emo. They were all stopped at doing whatever they were doing when the front door was kicked in and two thugs walked in with matching grins and weapons out ready to use them. All right, Tsunami, just come with us, and we will leave these little brats alive. The thug with a purple beanie says with a katana out and walks over to her, only to be stopped when a girl gets in the way. I will not let you have her. I was trusted to keep this place safe from harm. Rukia says, getting in a stance with her wooden sword at the ready and ice-cold eyes she copied from her papa. Rukia-chan, you don't have to do this. I will go and no one will be hurt, Tsunami says, trying to walk in front of Rukia, only to be stopped by Inari, who gets in front of her shakily. Rukia is alright. We won't let you take her, Inari says, trying to get confidence. Rukia notices his shaking and tries to give him some help. Inari, in a battle, the ones who get in the way are not the ones that lack power, but the ones who lack resolve. She shouts to him, making Inari focus and also ready to do battle unknowingly, making Naruto's shadow clone proud at her words. Little brat in a bunny onesie and a wooden sword thinks she's gonna beat me. The bandit laughs while the clones of Naruto are ready at any second but want to watch to see how they will do. Let's go then. Rukia shouts, charging the bandit with a thrust only for the bandit to jump to the side, but he does not dodge the leg sweep Rukia did, which knocks him to the ground. Rukia then goes for a stab to his groin to immobilize him, but he then rolls over and gets up. I wasn't going to hurt you too badly, but now I'm going to kill you. He rushes at Rukia's shoulder, tackling the girl to the ground and stomping her in the stomach, making the girl cough up spit and some blood. Not so hot stuff now, are you, little brat? He then goes for a stomp to the head. She hits him in the back of the knee, folding his leg backwards, making him fall enough for her to hit him in the throat with her hand, making the man gasp for air. Rukia quickly gets up and kicks him in the balls and hits him in the head with her sword repeatedly. The other bandit rushes her, hoping to catch her while she isn't looking. Rukia turns to see him coming, aiming his sword to pierce her in the chest, and just when Naruto is about to jump in the way, something unexpected happens. The man is impaled by an ice spear that is going through his chest from the ground, leaving the man to wiggle at the end, only to be stopped when Inari runs and stabs the man in the back. Everyone is silent at all the things that just happened. Rukia is looking at her hands in shock, and Inari is also shocked he just killed someone. Clapping could be heard as a shadow clone of Naruto walks through the open door with a proud smile on his face. He then opens his arms to the kids, and they run to him crying. Papa, I just killed someone. Rukia says, crying into Naruto's shoulder. Naruto, I also killed that guy. Inari says, crying in Naruto's shoulder as well. Don't worry, you two. You did what you had to in order to protect what is close to you, and I am proud of both of you. He says with a kind smile on his head, making the two feel a little better. Oh, really? The shaken-up Rukia says, getting her crying under control. Yes, I also heard your little speech you gave to Inari, little Miss Bossy Pants. He says, teasing her a bit, trying to make them feel better. Shut up, Baka Oda-chan, Rukia says, hitting Naruto upside the head, making everyone laugh. But why don't you guys go round up the villagers and tell them to come to the bridge? Tell them the waves make way for a storm. He then walks to Tsunami and whispers in her ear. I didn't forget what I said earlier, I hope you are ready. He blows in her ear, making her shiver. Goodbye, guys, and be safe, I am off to kick some ass. He disappears with the dead bodies. Bridge. Naruto could be seen floating above the bridge, just having received the memories from his shadow clone, and he couldn't help but smile at what the two kids did and Rukia activating her bloodline. Alright, I guess I can make my entrance now. He released his resistance seals for the first time in a week, and he can already feel the difference in his speed. He then inhales and lets out a breath and lets out a jutsu with no hand seals. Wind-style great breakthrough. Instantly, a huge gust of wind hits the bridge, knocking all the mist away and knocking everyone one of their feet, even the Jonin fighting who were caught off guard. Naruto-kun, it's about time you got here, we could really use your help. Enko shouts, making her way over to him along with Kakashi. Yes, Naruto. It seems Zabuza has called back up, and we were having trouble fighting them in the mist, but thanks to you we won't have to worry anymore. Kakashi says, taking this chance to catch his breath. Sorry about that, but don't worry, I will take care of the rest from here. Oh, and Enko, tonight, I will be rearranging your organs and making sure you won't be able to walk tomorrow. Naruto-kun, I can't wait. I am gonna ride you till the morning. She replies in a sexy tone with a little pink on her face at what he said. Kakashi, despite the situation, gets a little nosebleed. So Kakashi, tell me what I am dealing with these two guys. Naruto says in a tone with all jokes aside, and only a warrior spoke, making Kakashi straighten up and also get serious. Zabuza is an A-rank missing ninja from Kiri and a master at silent killing, along with being an ex-member of the 7 Ninja 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. Raiga is also an ex-member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist. He is in possession of the Kiba blades which use lighting, and is somehow able to predict our movements, but I think it has something to do with whatever is located on his back. Thank you, Kakashi. I will handle these two. Go and check on the Uchiha in the Hall of Ice Mirrors while you Enko go and move Sakura and Tazuna to a safe place. Things will get a bit messy, and I don't want to hit anyone. He says in a tone, leaving no argument, making the two nod and run off to do what he said. Okay, you two, I am your opponent, and let's hurry this up. I have a sexy MILF waiting for me to return and tear it up. He says, unsheathing his sword, making the two swordsmen who know of that style back up in fear, because all swordsmen who are worth something know about the famous Moonlight Sword and its style that was said to cut through mountains and lay the gods to rest with only a single stroke of the blade. How do you have tea that blade, a brat like you should not be able to wield something like that? The scared Zabuza said. Why, yeah, it must be a fake. I'll give you a funeral for even copying that blade. He shouts, raising the blades in the air, making lighting appear and strike the blades. Lighting wave, he shouts, making waves of lighting to race towards Naruto. Cute, is the reply Naruto gives before smacking them out of his way to the shock of both ninjas. How? That move has killed plenty of Jonin before. The shocked Raiga said with wide eyes. Wow, if that really killed Jonin, they must have been some weak Jonin. A smirking Naruto replies, still moving forward. Let me show you how to make waves. Naruto raises his hands to the sky and faster than what Raiga did, lightning strikes his hands. Lighting wave. Faster than Raiga could move, he is struck by all of the bolts, leaving him panting with blood coming down his lip. Now that's how you do it. He sends them a smirk, making them mad at him. Fine, then I will just use my blade and cut you up. Raiga and Zabuza charge him. Naruto, with a grin, charges the two with his sword out. Zabuza aims a high sword swing, while Raiga goes low to cut the blonde in half. Let's dance. Naruto jumps over them, both kicking Zabuza in the back, and Raiga dodges barely, but still suffers a cut that reveals a boy on his back in a sleeping bag. A boy with purple hair that is long at the back, but forms bangs at the front of his face that stop above his eyes, showing glowing red eyes that look like the Byakugan. So you were telling him how to predict our attacks. Ranmaru, are you okay? Raiga looks at the boy, who is scared. Yes, I am okay, thank you. I think you will be coming with me, kid. There is a clan similar to yours in the Leaf called the Hyuga. They will be able to help you. Naruto speaks to the boy. I won't let you take him. Raiga says, getting ready to charge again, only to be surprised when his back feels lighter and he can see Ranmaru no longer there. Too late, he is already gone, Naruto says, tossing Ranmaru in the air, making him scream only to be caught by a flying clone. Okay, now that your little secret weapon is gone, you will die first, Naruto says in a serious tone. You bastard, Zabuza, buy me some time, I am going to wipe him off the map, Raiga says, aiming his swords to the sky, trying to gather as much lighting as possible. On it, came the reply from Zabuza. Naruto then engages in a sword fight with Zabuza, who is shocked that this kid is keeping up with him, so he picks it up to Jonin level speed and strength, but much to his surprise, Naruto is still matching him with a grin still on his face. He goes for a thrust, but Naruto sidesteps and stabs him in the stomach, only for Zabuza to turn into water, and Naruto is sliced in half. Ha, brat was all talk, he dash. Zabuza is cut off when Naruto turns into lighting and Zabuza can do nothing. Got you, the grinning blonde says, giving Zabuza a slash across his chest. Damn Gaki, clever trick, the demon of the mist says, getting to his feet. They then charge back at each other, clashing blades, but this time it is Zabuza who can't keep up with the blonde, who delivers strikes that are fast and precise. Naruto cuts Zabuza on his side while dodging to the left, missing a thrust from Zabuza that leaves him open, and Naruto capitalizes on it by slashing him on his back, leaving a deep cut that makes blood gush on the ground. Naruto jumps back, weaving a swipe that would have taken his head off. 17th Dance Twister. Naruto turns into a spinning twister, giving Zabuza cuts all over his body, making the former Mist Umbu cry out in pain. Naruto comes out of the twister, grin still on his face, loving this battle. Come on, Demon of the Mist, I'm not done dancing yet. 18th Dance Mixer. Naruto unsheathes his sword faster than the eye could see. The next thing Zabuza knew was he got cut all over his body, making him drop to the ground, barely able to stay awake due to all the pain he was in. Damn Zabuza, can you do anything right? But it doesn't matter, my ultimate jutsu is ready. He then smirks at Naruto, who is giving him that grin still that pisses him off. Prepare to die, brat. Lighting of the heavens, he shouts, and aims his blades that are crackling with lightning at Naruto. Now die. Wow, he wanted to buy time for something this week, so I could make a bigger lighting show in my sleep. Let me show this foolish man the true power of lighting. Naruto then leaps up to the blast and covers his arm in lighting, something similar to that of Kakashi's lightning blade. Naruto then cuts the bolt in half and flies into the gray storm clouds and disappears. What? That is impossible. How the hell did he just cut my strongest jutsu like it was nothing? And where the hell did he go? Play Let's Do It by Lil Wayne. You don't have to, but this song helps this scene. Everyone on the bridge stopped what they were doing, even Haku, who was in the ice mirrors with a knocked-out Sasuke, and a Kakashi, who took this chance to get out of the mirrors with Sasuke. Anko and Sakura look up in the clouds and can hear the laughter of Naruto, while also seeing flashes of blue. The villagers on the way to the bridge look up and see it as well. Even Gato's men on the side of the bridge see it. The bloody Zabuza can barely look up to see what looks like a storm coming, and he can hear the laughter of that blonde brat. Haha, prepare to see what real lighting looks like, came the shout from the clouds, and what everyone sees leaves them shocked and strikes fear in the hearts of the blonde enemies. Zabuza even faints due to shock and fear. Storm release dragon of the heavens, Naruto shouts, and a blue dragon made of lighting comes out of the clouds, giving a bone-chilling roar, and Naruto has a shit-eating grin on his face at the look of fear on Raiga and Gato's men's faces. Now know the true power of Naruto Uzumaki of the Storm release. Naruto jumps off the dragon going down at Raiga, who can only stand there and take the hit. Naruto walks over to the place of impact, and he can see that it left a huge hole in the bridge, and not even a single trace of Raiga could be seen left. Man, I always leave nothing left of my enemies. He then notices some swords to the side. Oh, is that the Kiba blade? Well, don't mind if I do. He then picks them up, and they sparkle with lighting for a little bit. In Naruto Kuinti, that was awesome, shouted Anko, jumping on a Naruto, who happily caught her. My god, that was easily a S-rank jutsu, and I can see he isn't even tired from that. He probably held back to not destroy everything in range. He hasn't even used the chakra of the 9 tails, and he only has scratches and burn marks on his clothes. Naruto, just what are you? These are the thoughts of Kakashi, who is shocked at the display of power he just saw. Clapping could be heard coming from the end of the bridge, and some smoke moves to reveal that it is Gato and his thugs who are a little scared at what they just saw. So Zabuza, you failed, and they call you a demon who can't even kill some kids. He then sees everyone on the bridge. All right, men, kill everyone, but leave the women, especially that purple-haired one. I am going to have some fun with her. He gives a lustful grin at the Anko in Naruto's arms, who has a scowl on her face. Anko-chan, I am going to kill these guys really quick, and then we can go back to the house and get it on. He gives her a deep kiss and a pinch to her nipple through her fishnet. Okay, Naruto-kun, don't take too long, the slightly dazed Anko said at the kiss she just received. All right, you guys will all die now. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Clones of Naruto appear, and they all pull out their swords. Okay, guys, let's lay waste to these idiots who dare threaten our women. They all rush into the bandits, who charge with a war cry, hoping to get some lucky shoots. What could only be described as a massacre is the scene the citizens of Wave appear on the bridge to see. One man, but multiple versions of the man, are all over the place, slicing and killing the bandits with brutal strikes that they won't be getting up from. Unrivaled technique final. A large blast of wind comes from one of the Narutos, who delivered a straight punch to the air. 5 clones have a group of the remaining 50 bandits, and they are huddled together shaking. Galaxy split, and next thing everyone knows is that the clones seem to disappear, and not even Kakashi's Sharingan can see them. The bandits fall, losing their heads. And then there was one little mouse in the trap. A bloody Naruto says, with blood staining his black long sleeve under his armor. This turns Anko on at seeing how badass her man looks in all that blood. PP, please don't kill me, I'll do anything. Gato says, getting down on his knees to beg. Money, women, land, I have anything you could want. I want you to sign this paper which hands over your company to Tazuna. I want the code to your safe and the location of your base so we can take everything. Naruto says in a cold tone, scaring Gato so much he just did what he said without even thinking about what he said. Here, I did what you asked. Why, you'll let me go, right? The still scared man said. I never said that. You are going to die for making my daughter suffer and killing her sister. Naruto then throws Gato high into the sky and gets in a stance to attack. Heaven Splitter, Naruto whispers, but still everyone heard what he said. Then again, everyone is shocked to see Naruto slice his blade vertical and up in the sky, and Gato is split in half, and even the clouds are split, revealing a bright sun and blue sky. What the hell, this boy could have killed me easily, so why did he let me live? An awakened Zabuza asked, looking at the blonde in respect at what he just saw. Are you kidding me? He just split the fucking sky? This is going to be one report. Though Kakashi. Oh yeah, I'm riding him until the bed breaks. A soaking Anko, though looking at Naruto with lust as if reading her mind, turns to her and winks, making her blush. The people of Wave all let out cheers at what just happened to Gato in their now free country. They all run to Naruto and start to call him Naruto-sama and throw him in the air up and down, making him laugh. Wow, Papa is really strong. I hope I can be as strong as him one day, Rukia says. Anko hears what she says and rubs her bunny ears, making Rukia slap her hands away from her head. You're going to need a lot of training if you want to be strong like your daddy, Anko says, smirking. Naruto, finally able to get down from the villagers, walks to his group. All right, you guys, let's go back to the house so we can rest and party. He says the last part with a grin, making all the villagers cheer and run into town. Hey, Naruto. Zabuza calls the blonde. What is it, no brows? Naruto says with a smirk. A tick mark appeared on Zabuza's head, and a giggling Haku could be heard. Why did you let me live when you could have killed me easily? He asked, wanting an answer. Well, if I killed you, Haku-chan would be sad, and I can't have that. He says, removing the mask of a blushing Haku. What does she have to do with it? Zabuza asked with a raised eyebrow at the blonde. Well, she loves you like her father, and I can't kill her father now, can I? He said, smiling. This surprised Zabuza, who looked at Haku with wide eyes, who looked away feeling embarrassed. Haku, is that true? He asked with surprise in his voice. Why, yes, Zabuza-sama, but I will stop because I am only a tool and tools don't have feelings. She said the last part sadly. This earned a smack to the ass for Haku and a smack to the head for Zabuza. Haku-chan, you are not some tool. You are a beautiful girl who just has a shitey father. He says, giving her a charming smile, making her blush, while Zabuza got another tick mark. And Zabuza, stop being an ass and tell her you love her too, or you get the same treatment as Gato. He says, grabbing his sheath, making Zabuza go wide-eyed and run towards Haku. Haku, I also love you like the daughter I have never had. Please forgive me so I don't die. He says on his knees in front of Haku. Haku only laughed and helped him up. Zabuza-sama, I could never hate you, and I forgive you. She says, giving him a hug. All right, all is well, and good now, let's go party. Naruto then picks up Anko in a bridal style. You ready to get your world rocked, Heim? He says, smirking at the blushing Anko. Why, yes, I am now, let's go. To Zuna's house. The group arrives at the house with Zabuza and Haku. Everyone sits in the living room area. Naruto can be seen running upstairs with Anko over his shoulder, who is giggling like crazy along with a blushing Tsunami. Well, I guess he is going to get his mission payment early. Kakashi and Zabuza giggle like perverts, causing them to be hit in the head by Haku and Sakura, whose faces were red at knowing what was going to happen upstairs. Upstairs in Tsunami's room, Naruto threw the two on the bed and started to remove his gear, giving the girls a show, making them drool at his muscles. He puts up a silencing barrier and walks to them in nothing but boxers that do little to hide the monster peeking out his pants. Okay, I hope you girls are ready. I will be testing out this never-ending stamina of mine. He says, grinning at the two women in front of him, then he jumps on them, and the sounds of skin hitting skin along with moans of the lattice having the best time echo throughout the room. Next morning, Naruto could be seen slowly opening his eyes to only close them when the sun shined in his eyes. A quick curse to the sun, and he tried to get up only to realize he couldn't move. There was a tuft of purple and black on his chest, then he remembered what happened last night and could only grin. It was his first time, but he performed like he was doing it his whole life, and by the satisfied looks on their faces he would guess so. He rubbed their heads, whispering for them to wake up. Anko-chan, Tsunami-chan, it's time to wake up. He lays kisses on their heads. No, 5 more minutes, the half-awake Anko said. I don't want to leave bed just yet. Tsunami mumbled. He could only chuckle at them. Well, if we don't get up, someone might walk in on us, and you don't want that, do you? Well, I would get up if I could feel my legs. Anko said, hitting him on the chest lightly with a cute pout. Why, yes, I also can't feel my legs. The embarrassed Tsunami said. Well, I did tell you I was going to tear that ass up, didn't I? He says, smirking, making both girls blush. Why, yes, you did, but you were like an animal, and it was my first time, and you ravaged me like I never thought possible. A blushing Anko said. Well, you did ride me like you said you would, and let me say those melons were bouncing like crazy. Naruto says, grabbing one of her breasts, which makes Anko moan. Yes, Anko-chan is right. I have never been taken like that before. I was always the dominant one during these things. A blushing Tsunami said. Yes, I thought it was your first time we would be able to be in charge. A pouting Anko said. But I don't mind as long as it is you. She blushed and turned her head. No need to be embarrassed, there was none of that when you were calling me Naruto-sama, when I had you in doggy style. He says, laughing at the red-faced Anko. You too, Tsunami, when you were up on the wall. I had to pick you up because you almost fell to the ground. He turns to Tsunami, who looks away red-faced at how she was. Haha, okay, let's get up before someone walks in and gets a good view. How about we take a shower and clean up? He then looks at them like a predator at its prey. And maybe we can have another round in the shower. The two can only shiver at his gaze and get turned on by it even more. An hour later and a couple orgasms later, the two girls can be seen limping downstairs with bright smiles on their faces, and Naruto is smirking like he won the jackpot. Everyone looks at them with knowing grins except the kids who don't know what is going on. So how was it? A giggle escaped Zabuza as he couldn't help himself. It looks like you three had a good night. giggles alongside Kakashi when they are both hit by blushing Haku and Sakura, who mumble about pervy teachers. We had a good night's sleep. A blushing Tsunami replied, limping to the kitchen. I'll make breakfast so we can get started on our day. Good morning, Papa, Rukia says, jumping in Naruto's arms. Look what I can do. She then makes a rabbit out of ice and gives it to Naruto. Oh wow, when did you learn how to make these? He replies to her, taking the rabbit. Well, big sis Haku showed me how to do it. Turns out we are from the same clan, and she is going to help me train my powers. She says happily. Well, that is great. Maybe she can come back to the village and show you how. He says, looking at Haku, who is surprised. I would love that, B, but I have to stay with Zabuza. She says, a little sadly at not being able to follow her new little sister. Haku-chan, you can go with him back to the village if you want to. I was going to head back to the rebellion in Kiri and maybe help them out with all the money we got from Gato. There is no way we should lose. He replies to everyone in the room. That is what you had planned all along, isn't it? Naruto says, looking at him. Yes, it is. I can't go back to the lead having killed one of its ninjas. Now. But Zabuza, will you be okay without me? I know it can be hard for you sometimes. Are you sure? Haku says worriedly. A tick mark appears on Zabuza's head. I am not some little kid, Haku. I can take care of myself. Okay, Zabuza, I will miss you. She cries a bit and gives him a hug. Okay, team, we just have to wait until the bridge is done, and then we can make our way back to the leaf and take some time off. Kami knows I need it. He finishes the last part in his head. A week goes by with everyone helping finish the bridge, and with the help of Naruto's shadow clones, it didn't even take that long. They spent the rest of the week having a town celebration of their new hero Naruto. He even got a statue made, much to Sasuke's anger, who was filled in with the details of the battle, and he vowed to go to the council and make him hand over all his powers to him. Naruto also kept training, and Rukia would train with Haku while he made Sakura practice with him, who was starting to show signs of getting better by being able to do 10 laps around the whole village without stopping, but still could not do all 50 like Naruto and the other Jonin could, which made her sad, but Naruto fixed it by putting her on his back and flying her around the sky. Inari had started to call him Oda-san, which made Tsunami blush at thinking of having kids with Naruto. Kasumi had been a little distant with Naruto, and it made him worry about her, because she has never been like that. He said he would talk to her when he made it back to the village because he missed her. Bridge. The whole town was at the end of the bridge wanting to wish Naruto and the rest of his team goodbye, and all of Team 7 and Team 11 were there, just accepting all the praise with smiles on there, and Inari were also there. They had wanted to go back with Naruto to the village because they thought it would be great for them, while Tazuna ran the village. Naruto had developed a fan club, much to the girls' irritation. Okay, goodbye, everyone, we will see you when I come back, and we are going to have a huge party. The crowd gives a big cheer at his words. Goodbye, Naruto-sama, we love you, his fan club said, and he smirked and winked at all of them. They all start to walk off the new named bridge called the Great Naruto Bridge. Much to his happiness and Sasuke's annoyance. They all walk down the path answering questions of the curious kids and Tsunami until a crossroad appears. Alright, this is where I leave you guys and see you some other time, Zabuza said, giving a hug to his daughter who was crying. But they are stopped when a group of Mist Umbu appear. Zabuza Momochi, you are to come with us, the captain said, walking up to the man. Yes, so you can kill me? I don't think so, he says, pulling his blade off his back. No, you have it wrong. The war is over, and we have a new Mizukichi, he said, pulling out a paper with their mission on it and a message to Zabuza. He read the message and started to shake with fear at who is the new Mizukichi. Mei Terumi is the new leader. He remembers all the times she tried to kill him with those lava balls and shuddered. Okay, I will come with you guys. Well, would you look at that, everything worked out just fine, Naruto said, smiling. Now let's get back. I need some ramen. He then picks up Rukia, Tsunami, and Inari, putting them in the arms of clones while he goes through a couple hand signs. Water style water shockwave. He shouts, and a wave as big as the gates of Konoha form, and he jumps on top of the wave, making its way to the village at high speeds, laughing the whole way while some of the others screamed. This is going to be a crazy report. Kakashi cried anime tears at his problems. CH8. Gates of Konoha. We can see the ever-present guards who defend the village with all their might and years of fighting those who dare to challenge their village. Izumo and Kotetsu. Man, I am so bored, I wish something new would happen, Kotetsu says, drawing another card from the deck. Him and Izumo often play cards to help pass the time, because on days like these it just goes by so slowly. Stop complaining. We have a duty to do for the village. We have an important job. We must make sure no person who wishes to harm the village can come in, he says, placing down his cards for a royal flush with a grin. Kotetsu can only sigh and slump in his seat at another loss in his belt. You only say that because you keep winning, pointing a finger at his best friend. Izumo puts his hands up in defense of his statement. Hey, no need to play the blame game, you just suck at this game. He then sighs. Where is Naruto when you need him? He always keeps this place feeling lively. Yeah, who are you telling? He has gotten so strong he even beat Anko, and we can't even beat her if we team up. Kotetsu replies with excitement when talking about Naruto. Turns out he has always been a fan of Naruto's pranks and his new powers. Yeah, he will most likely become a jonin before we do. Izumo replies a little sad at that part. Hey, why don't we start to train again? Maybe we will be able to get prompted as well. He says a little excited at the last part. Yes, you're right. We will start to train tomorrow, and we will be able to kick Naruto's butt in no time. The two high-five each other at their new goal. But the two are stopped when the ground starts to rumble, and they can see trees being knocked down in the distance. Umbu, Kotetsu yells, making 5 Umbu appear out of nowhere. There is something coming from the tree line, and I can sense multiple chakra signatures. Squad, I will get on top of the wall to check, you stay here and wait for any attack that might come. They all do just as they said, with them getting their weapons ready. What the Umbu sees surprises him. It is a massive wave of water coming this way. Everyone perform the basic earth wall and put in as much chakra as you can. The captain says, jumping down, and they all perform the jutsu. As the wave approaches, they can all see it and hear the waves crashing and what sounds like laughing. Prepare for impact. A second later, they are all smashed with the heavy waves, and the wall starts to crack and some water shoots through some holes. Hold it. The captain screams, only for all the water to disappear. That was fun, Naruto-kun, can we do it again? Anko says, hanging off of Naruto with a wide smile on her face. She wasn't the only one smiling. Kakashi, Sakura, Rukia, Tsunami, Inari, Sasuke, and even the now free Ranmaru, who was stuck in a ceiling seal until Naruto released him. Everyone on the other side of the wall, and even other ninja who had come because they felt all the chakra being used along with some civilians. They froze when they heard the name Naruto. Some were confused. Was he the one who did all that chakra and massive waves? Haha, don't you worry your pretty little head, we can do it as much as you want. He replied, laughing until he saw everyone looking at him. Oh, hey there, Kotetsu and Izumo. How's it going? Waving a hand like nothing happened. Uzumaki-san, did you create this huge wave? The captain of the Umbu asked, getting out of his shock. He wanted to take this brat to the Hokage and have him explain why he did what he did. Yes, I did, awesome, right? He says, grinning at them. Hell yeah, it was. Can I come next time? An Umbu with a lizard mask said, only to be hit by another to be quiet. You bet you can. I'll even take you guys. He points to the gate guards who are shaking with excitement. Uzumaki-san, that was dangerous and could have harmed someone. I will take you to the Hokage office and have you explain your actions. Mama, no one was hurt, we just wanted to make it to the village fast, and he used this to travel here. Kakashi says, trying to calm down the problem. Kakashi-senpai, you were also involved in this. I must tell everyone how childish you have become. The Umbu then tried to walk to Naruto and grab him, but Naruto pushed his hand away. If you want to take me, you will have to catch me. He replied with a devilish smirk that scared the Umbu because they knew they could not catch him. I will not be in these games, Uzumaki-san, just dash. He is cut off when Naruto hit him with a paint bomb that turned his clothes pink, making everyone laugh at him. Fine, if that's what you want, when I catch you, I will cut your legs off so you can't run anymore. He then orders the Umbu to engage him. You guys go ahead to the old man's office, and I will meet you when I shake these guys. He says while running into the village at high speeds the Umbu could barely keep up with. Will Daddy be okay? He said those guys are the elite of the village. A worried Rukia asked Haku, who only picked her up. Don't worry, Rukia-chan, Naruto-kun has told me he was able to avoid those guys at your age, so I'm sure he will be just fine. Haku says, rubbing her head. Well, we can leave him to have some fun with those guys while we go to the office. I am sure he will have lost them by the time we get there. Anko says, starting to walk off, and the group follows him. While walking through the village, Rukia, Tsunami, and Inari are amazed by how big the village is and can't believe how many stores that they have. But they also feel a little anger towards them because they are the same ones who were hurting Naruto. When the group finally makes it to the office of the Hokage, they can hear voices in the room and it sounds like a meeting is going on. They decide to go inside to see what is going on, but are shocked at who they see. The current Raikage, who has blonde-white hair that are in braids with dark skin. A build that is built for muscles and to grapple and throw heavy punches that will leave you in the hospital. Two companies with him. The one too is right is Killer B the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki and has a build similar to that of his brother the Raikage. On the other side of the Raikage is a woman who has a more slender build with light skin and blonde hair that goes to her back in a braid, who happens to be the Two-Tails Jinchuriki. They all stop when Teams 7 and 11 enter the room, and a moment of silence is there until it is broken by the old Hokage, who gives an awkward cough. "Hello teams, I see both missions were a success," he says, giving them a smile, trying to make the awkward situation go away. "Yes, Hokage-sama, our mission was a success, but had some weird things go on during the mission, and my report will definitely be one for the ages." Kakashi steps up speaking after giving a bow to the Raikage, who only nodded, recognizing who he was. He then motions for Tezuna's family along with Rukia and Haku to walk forward, and they all are a little nervous at all the high-class people in the room. Hello Hokage-sama, my name is Tsunami, and this is my son Inari, and we wish to join the village. The woman speaks up a little nervous. The old Haikage can only give a grandfatherly smile at them, which makes them feel a little better. "Okay, what makes you come to our village if I may ask?" "Well, I came here to be with Naruto-kun." She replies, blushing at remembering Naruto and how many times they had sex of the week. "Hee, I see, so you were sharing him with Anko." The old man and Kakashi giggle like perverts. "Oh Hokage-sama, they are sharing him all right," Kakashi says, hinting at what they did, making Anko and Tsunami blush. "Shut up, you pervert," Anko says, hitting him in the balls with a red face. The old man gets a bit off a nosebleed at what he is thinking, but he wipes it away. The Raikage and his group can only sweat drop at what is going on. It's like they totally forgot we are here, and who is this Naruto they keep talking about? Must be some lucky man if two women are sharing him. "Okay, we can talk more about that when Naruto-kun gets here," he says, getting under control a little bit. "Now what about you two?" Looking at Rukia and Haku. "Well, my reason is similar to Tsunami-chan. I also wish to join the village, but as a ninja," Haku says, making an ice rabbit much to the Hokage and group from Kumo's surprise. "Hey old man, don't forget about me, I can also do that." She then makes another ice rabbit like Haku. They are surprised again at this because there are two clan members that could bring in new bloodlines. "Haha old man, I can see you hang with Naruto-kun a lot, can't you?" He replies, laughing at her name for him. "Of course I will, he is my dad after all," Rukia says, smiling. The Hokage stops laughing and looks at her in shock. "Daughter, he must have picked her up on his mission, and with how similar these two are, I can see why he did that. But if raises her to be just like him, oh my god, this is not good, another prankster. And she has ice powers, she will also be really strong. I need to find another successor to take my place, or I will die from a heart attack with these two." He then starts to sweat heavily at all the things that go through his head at the possibilities. "Hokage-sama. Oh, sorry about that, I was lost in my thoughts for a second. So you wish to be adopted by him, I shall write everything up now." He pulls out some papers and starts to write at light speed so he can help Naruto and this girl. "By the way, where is Naruto-kun? We need him to sign and give me a report," he says, looking at them. "Well, the Umbu were after him because we arrived at the village on a wave the size of the front gates, and they wanted to arrest him for scaring them and causing trouble." Kakashi says, a little bit nervous. "Haha, this sounds like a very fun guy. I wish to meet him. Where is he?" The Raikage says, laughing at everything this Naruto guy was doing. "Well, he should be here in a little while. You know how the Umbu can never catch him." Anko replies with a wave of her hand. "Raikage-sama, I can feel a great power coming here, and it feels similar to mine." Yujito says, looking outside for the power closing in fast. "Yeah bro, this power is massive, it's even stronger than all of us," he says in a rare moment of seriousness and a little nervous at the power. Everyone turns to the window where they can hear the cheers of the crowd and cat calls of the ladies. They can see what looks like something is coming. Everyone from the Leaf already knows, but those of Kumo have no idea and are getting ready for anything. "Ha, dynamic entry," the shout comes from Naruto as he is seen coming through the window with a grin in place and in his blue armor similar to that of the second Hokage. "I told those Umbu they wouldn't catch me, not even when I'm on my deathbed would they get me," he says, dusting himself off while taking a look around at everyone with wide eyes. "Papa!" The shout came from Rukia as she ran to him, and he caught her in his arms while spinning around, making her giggle and laugh. "Hello, my little snow princess, is everything going okay with the old man?" He replies, smiling at her still in his arms. Yes, and I called him old man, just like you said. But Hake Nachan says I must call him with respect, and she hits me on the head. Will you punish her for me, daddy? Rukia says, doing the puppy eyes jutsu on him with tears in the corner of her eyes. Don't you worry, I will be sure to make sure Haku gets spankings for making you cry. He says, giving Haku a smirk, making her blush and covering her butt. But she is right, we must address him with respect. Even though he is an old man, he is still the strongest ninja. After you kick-ass dad, that is. He says, puffing out his chest, making her giggle. Yeah, I want to be a kick-ass ninja too. She says, waving her hands up only to be bonked on the head by her dad. Language or no candy for a week, he says, giving a stern glare, making her go wide-eyed. A week, no? I promise I won't say the bad words ever again. She shakes him, looking at him with horror. Well, I better not catch you saying any bad words, he says, smirking at her. Naruto-kun, you can do that later. We have other matters to get into, he says, trying to get things under control. Yeah, no problem, Lord Old Man. What do you need? He says, stepping by his team, ignoring the Kumo group who are looking at him with wide eyes at seeing what he just did and how everyone is all calm. Reikage Dano, we will continue our talk tomorrow for the exams if you don't want to listen to all this stuff. No, that's okay. I am really interested in this group you got here, he says, eyeing all of them. Hiruzen nods his head and then looks to the teams and asks for the report and what has happened. An hour goes by and Kakashi is just now starting to finish his report about what has all gone down on the mission, with wide eyes at what he is hearing along with the hidden Umbu and Kumo group. So Haku, you used to work with Zabuza and now have split up and want to join our village, he says, looking at her. A quick nod from the girl, and he sighs. Well, if that's the case, you will have to go on a probation for 2 months, and then after that you can join our ninja ranks like you asked. Okay, Hokage-sama, I understand. She bowed in appreciation. For the meantime, you can stay with Naruto along with the new Rukia, Uzumaki, he said, smiling, making Naruto smile, but Rukia was asleep. Tsunami and her son will also live with you. Not a problem, but I am going to need a bigger place with all these people. Can I have the direction of the Uzumaki compound? I know one must still be here. This makes the old man freeze and a little nervous and scared. And Naruto, I dash. Don't, old man. I don't agree with what you did, but just let me have everything that belongs to the clan and scrolls from my mother. And we can call it even, but come the Chunin exams, I expect to know who my father is. Okay, Naruto-kun, I'll give you everything. He then goes and opens a slot under his desk and takes out scrolls and sealed letter. Here, this is everything Kushina sealed up before she died to the QB. Wait, he is the son of Kushina Uzumaki, the Red Death. The Reikage shouts, losing his cool for a second. Wow, my mom sounds pretty badass if she was able to make you react like that, and she also got a pretty badass nickname. Naruto says, smirking. Kid, you have no idea. That woman was scary. Killer Bee shivered at hearing the laugh of the Red Death. Can I see a picture of her, please? Naruto said, looking at the Hokage with hope. Well, there are better ones at the compound, but I guess you can look at this old one. Grabbing something from his desk, the Hokage hands a picture to him, and Naruto gasps. Oh my Kami, my mom is freaking hot. The blonde says, making everyone's sweat drop at what he said. Really, Naruto-kun, that is the first thing you say when you see her. Anko smacks her face in exaggeration. I can't help it. Just look at her beautiful red hair and round face that just makes her look even more cute. Not to mention her rocking body and cup size. Naruto-kun, you do realize you're checking out your mom, right? Tsunami says in a blank tone. Well, anyways, Naruto-kun, now that you know you're in a clan, you will have to go in the CRA, and I have to tell the council of this along with your daughter and Haku. The old man says a bit seriously. If they try anything stupid or talk out of line, they are dead, no questions asked. Naruto said, dead serious, looking at Hiruzen, who tries to suppress a shudder at his gaze. Okay, and about your bloodline, they will also try to force women on you. It won't work. Only I will pick who gets a piece of me. He then picks up Rukia and walks off to his house and the rest of his group. Well, Hokage-sama, that is one interesting kid you have there, the Reikage said, sitting in a chair. Yes, and I can sense he holds the QB. That must be why he is so strong and can do all those jutsu he said he did. Yujito says, speaking up. Yeah, you ain't no way he's stronger than 8. Oh, as a little brat, but if he thinks he's good, he can always come and mess with the bullwee. B says, rapping again. You have it wrong. He's never used the QB chakra once. The old man says, shocking all of them. B, but why are they not on good terms? Yujito asked. He tells me they are really close. He just hasn't met anyone where he needed to use the chakra, so he only has fought with his own power, shrugging his shoulders at them. Well, when we get back to Kyumo, we will have to tell our genin to up their training, the buff rakage says. And not to mention, he didn't even acknowledge that we were in the room. He is a little bit pissed at that part. Uzumaki compound. We can see Naruto walking with a sleeping Rukia and Inari on his shoulders sleeping. He is walking with Tsunami, Enko, Haku, and Ranmaru, who have all decided to stay with him. So Ranmaru, when we get settled in and they have the council meeting, I will introduce you to the Hyuga head and try to get you in their clan, and they will help you. He speaks to Ranmaru in the arms of a clone. Oh, okay, thank you for doing all this for me, he says a little shyly. They all stop when they get to a gate with a giant red swirl in the middle of it. He sees seals on the gate and rubs some blood on it, recognizing it as a blood seal, and the gates open to a compound in perfect conditions due to the seals that help keep the place clean. Wow, this place is huge, he says, looking at the massive front yard that has a stone pathway in the middle. They begin to walk the path until they make it at the front door, and Naruto puts the key in and opens the door to a massive mansion with space enough for them to stick a pool in the middle of the floor. Holy crap, this place is huge, Enko says with her jaw on the ground. I know, look at that kitchen, Tsunami says and quickly runs to it with stars in her eyes, making everyone's sweat drop. Rukia-chan, Inari-kun, wake up and look at your new house, he says, softly shaking the kids awake. Papa, they both say at the same time. Yeah, that's me now, look at your new house. They turn around and go wide-eyed and start to run around. Rukia even walked on the ceiling, making Inari pout because she didn't help him. Rukia-chan, pick me up as well, he says, reaching out. She grabbed his hand and tried to pull him up. Little bro, you are so heavy, what have you been eating? She says, struggling. What, I am not heavy, why you rabbit brain, he says to Rukia. What did you call me, fish brain? She says, getting his face. Rabbit brain. Fish brain. The two disappear in a comical cloud of smoke, fighting and throwing insults at each other. All right, you two, you can stop now, he says, walking up only to be hit by a flying carrot, making the kids stop and look at their dad in horror. All right, you kids are gonna get it now. He then makes a water whip to spank them and start chasing them around the compound, making Enko, Haku, and Ranmaru sweat drop. Well, they can go and play. How about we go pick out our rooms? Enko said, getting out of her shock. Yes, let's, Haku said, picking up Ranmaru, who needed help to walk. Once Naruto was done playing with the kids, he goes into the master bedroom, where he can see pictures of his mother and a blonde man who. Him. This is the fourth Hokage. Am I the son of the fourth Hokage? He sits down on the bed in shock. Looking around, he can see more pictures of the two, and then see a pregnant Kushina along with Minato Namikaze. So my own dad sealed Kasumi-chan into me. He smiles a little bit holding the picture, and some tears come to his eyes at finally knowing who his family was. I was born to be a badass. He chuckles a little bit at that statement. He gets up and walks to the closet, seeing all his mother's clothes and his dad's cape as well. A little big, but I can grow into it, he says, taking the cape off. I will tell the group and those I trust. He leaves the room to go to the front of the house. He sees Tsunami in the kitchen happily cooking lunch. Rukia and Inari in the backyard training with Haku. Enko is on the couch eating dango, watching TV with her coat off, leaving her only in her fishnet shirt with Ranmaru in her lap, also eating dango with a smile. It's what I always wanted, friends and family to call my own. He says a little more tears are coming to his eyes, but he wipes them away and walks to the front door. I am going out. I will get the rest of your stuff, Enko, and also mine, so we can get settled into our new home. Everyone smiles and waves him goodbye. Streets. In the streets, he can see many people giving him smiles and nods from the ninjas, and the kids still smiling happily at him. It seems as if they are starting to see me for me and not Kasumi-chan. He frowns at the fact that she is still not talking to him. He is cut off when he can smell his favorite food, and he goes over there to greet the two people who work there. Hello, you guys, have you missed me? He said, sitting in the seat reserved for him. Naruto-kun, is that you? The shocked Ayam says, a little pink on her face at seeing how handsome he looks. Oh, hello, Naruto, where have you been? We thought you forgot about us. Sorry about that, I was training and also just got back from a mission. But can I get some of that food of the gods? He says, drooling at the food. Sure, Naruto-kun, just don't do that again, okay? I am says, hitting him on the head. Sorry, Nachon, I won't do it again. He then spends a little while eating 30 bowls of ramen and telling them about what he has been doing for the last 2 months. And to say the two were shocked is an understatement. He said he would show them during the Chunin exams if they made a poster and cheered with his new family. They agreed to it instantly, making him laugh. He is now walking from Anko house with all her stuff in a scroll and was now making his way to his house only to be stopped when an angry Kurenai Yuhi jumped in his path, giving him a death glare. Hello, Kurenai-chan, I've missed you, he said, smiling. She blushes a little bit but shakes it off because she is angry at him. Don't Kurenai-chan me. Where have you been, mister? She says, getting in his face, making him raise his hands. I am sorry, I wanted to tell you I had a mission with Anko, but it was an emergency and I couldn't find you. She looks at him for a bit before sighing. Okay, that is a good reason. I just overreacted a bit, I understand. Don't worry, Kurenai-chan. How about I make it up to you? He grabs her and pulls her into an empty alley and pushes her against the wall, making Kurenai blush and try to look away. But Naruto grabs her by the neck and whispers in her ear. How about I rip these clothes off you and take you up against this wall, giving her ear a bite and kissing her on the neck, making her moan. Naruto-kun, no we can't do that, she says through moans, arching her back a little bit. He then starts to run his hands down her sides and grabs her by the ass and giving it hard smacks. He slides a hand in between her legs and grabs one of her breasts, giving it a squeeze. My Kurenai-chan, you are all wet. You are liking this, aren't you? He says, smacking her ass again. He then plants a kiss on her lips, making her eyes go wide at getting kissed by Naruto for the first time. She then gets over the surprise and starts to kiss him back, trying to get control, but is stopped when he picks her up, making her gasp, and he sticks his tongue in her mouth. Naruto-kun, I like you, she says, red-faced at everything that is going on to her. I know I am going to have to share with Anko, but I am okay with it. She already told me it was okay. Well, that's good because I am in the CRA, and you are going to have to share with some other women. Leaving her shocked. I knew this would happen, at least I can have you to myself right now, she says, going back into the makeout session. Oh, Kurenai, can you nogdy girl, it seems you are a pervert. She blushed at what he said before she smirked. Only for you, Naruto-kun, she says, reaching in his pants only to go wide-eyed. How are you so big? You're only 13, she says, a bit more shocked. Well, I look like a 15-year-old, and that means certain parts of me also look older, he says, smirking at her shock. Just ask Anko and Tsunami. When you get back to my compound, they will tell you all about it. Why, you and Anko had sex? She says, shocked. Yup, and I tore that ass up. But don't worry, your time will come. He gives her ass a smack before body flicking her to his house and giving Anko her stuff, getting a kiss from her, and giving Tsunami a kiss as well. He left to go back to get his things from his house. When he was finally done with that, he was walking back down the streets of the village when an umbu appeared in his path. The council wishes to speak with you, the umbu said, and disappeared. I knew it would come sooner or later. He then body flickers to the chambers. Council chambers. In the chambers, all of the clan heads and the civilian members can be seen all together, with the Hokage at the end of the table and everyone else on the sides waiting for the Uzumaki to show. Hey there, old man. Is it already time for this meeting? He says, standing in the middle of the room with everyone looking at him. He looks at all the civilian heads with a blank face, unnerving some of them until he sees Sakura's mom and gives her a charming smile. Because out of everyone, she was always nice to him and helped where she could. This makes the young blonde blush a bit at how handsome he looks. He then looks at the clan heads and nods, but when he sees Hayashi, he stares at him for a little bit, making the room tense a bit. I have something to talk to you about, Hyuga, he says in a neutral tone. It is Hyuga-sama to you, boy. He responds in a blank tone, matching Naruto. You get my respect when you earn it. But I have discovered a child on a mission with powers similar to your Byakugan, but his eyes go red and he lacks physical strength because of his eyes from what I could see so far. Hayashi eyebrows raised a little bit at what he was hearing. I want to see him for myself. I will go get him now. He disappeared in a lighting body flicker, shocking everyone, only to come back a moment later with him. This is Ranmaru, and he has the bloodline I am talking about. Ranmaru then activates his powers, and Hayashi is shocked because it is something that was only shown in the early years of the Hyuga days during the war and states area, when the Hyuga's eyes would get stained with blood, leaving them that color, causing a genetic mutation. How that is the red Byakugan not seen since the war and states period. This shocked everyone because he never loses his cool, and then they heard what he said and were even more shocked. Hayashi, what does this red Byakugan do that is different from yours? Asked the Hokage, wanting to know about anything. Well, there is not much on it, but from what I know, it can see further and predict movements like the Sharingan. It has the ability to see even more chakra points that my eyes can't see. This left everyone surprised, and even Naruto and Ranmaru. What would you look at that you are going to be a kick-ass ninja like you're an Ai-san? Naruto says, grinning at Ranmaru on his shoulder, blushing from the attention he was getting. Thank you, in Naruto and Ai-san. Okay, I will take you home and tell everyone about your new powers. He then disappeared again. Wow, that boy is just full of surprises, said Shikaku, who was up for once. Oh, you know I am. He appeared standing next to Tsum, who was shocked at his appearance. She was even more shocked when he picked her up and sat her in his lap, grin still in place. I can sense your arousal. Are you in your heat cycle? He says in her ear. Shut up, you stupid Gaki, that's not for you to know, she says, getting out of her shock. He then puts his hands on her waist, moving them up and down. No need to lie to me, Tsum-chan. He blows in her ear, making her shiver at how sensitive her ears are. Stop, don't do that, she says, hitting his chest. He then starts to rock her back and forth, making her rub against his crotch with her wedding folds. Do you need me to come and help you with your problem? How about I come over later and help you? He says, still talking into her ear. She then gets up and body flickers to her house with her ninken. Everyone in the room was shocked. The men had nosebleeds and the women had slight blushes. Naruto-kun back on topic to the meeting. He coughs in his hand, getting ready to speak. Naruto is the last member of the Uzumaki clan and has agreed to be in the CRA to help his clan. He also brought 2 Yuki clan female members and one his adoptive daughter. The clan heads are shocked because they didn't expect for him to be in the Uzumaki clan. They thought it was just a name given to show respect. The civilians, on the other hand, were not so happy. Most were angry, and some wanted his clan's power. One stupid civilian member got out of his seat to yell, "This demon brat is no clan heir. He is the son of a whore." Naruto got out of some chair and put his hands together and pulled them apart, showing a scythe of lighting, and made his way to the man. Umbu jumped in his way, but they were put to the ground when he released some of his killing intent, and they all fell to their knees, and the clan heads also fell, and the Hokage started to sweat. The civilians were throwing up and choking except for Mabuki, who was only sweating. My mother Kushina Uzumaki was not a whore, and those words will never come out of your mouth again, he says in a cold tone. PP, please, I am sorry, the man said, shaking. I don't care, you fools take me for some kind of joke, but you will learn to put some respect on my name. With that said, he sliced the man's head off and then sat back down, leaving everyone silent for a moment. Umbu, take the body away, the Hokage said, getting over his shock. Hokage-sama can't kill this demon, he killed Larry, a civilian member said. You see, old man, this is what happens when you get soft and don't enforce rules. Fools like this think they can just order you around, leaving people like me to clean up the mess. Naruto then gets up and does the same to the stupid civilian. This is why I told you to get your act together, and you should probably start to train again if you are going to invite the other Kage to the exams. Because they won't respect you if you just look like an old man doing paperwork. This makes Hiruzen realize how right Naruto words are again, and the clan heads can see the fire come back to the old man again, and they smile, while Danzo curses in his head. But he takes this moment to speak up. Hiruzen he is cut off when the Hokage looks at him and corrects him. It is Hokage-sama to you, elder, Hiruzen says in a firm. Danzo curse even more in his head. Sorry, Hokage-sama, but we should put these girls in the CRA to rebuild the clan, giving us more ice users. In an instant, Naruto was at Danzo's neck with his lighting scythe ready to cut his arm off. Clearly, you need some more convincing. How about I just get to the root of the problem, Lord Old Man? Not giving him a chance to respond, Naruto slices Danzo's arm off that is covered in bandages to everyone's shock. But what they see leaves them grossed out. It is an arm covered with Sharingan eyes that are open. Naruto throws it to the ground and burns it with his lighting. Damn you, boy, do you know what you just did? Danzo replied in pain. Umbu, take his ass to Ibiki, the Hokage said, and they did just that. Everyone just looks at Naruto. Now I think we all had a long meeting and just want to go home, so let's wrap this up and go, shall we? Oh, Mabuki-chan, I will be coming over some time to help Sakura-chan with her training. So she has finally apologized to you. I am so glad, she said, giving him a hug. We'll see you guys some other time. He wraps his black trench coat with the orange flames on the bottom around him and disappears in a water tornado. That boy is so troublesome, came the reply from the Nara head. Everyone can only nod.